wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh.
Back, and to our viewers, welcome. To my left, we have
Captain Joel.
and to my right,
Officer Jezreel.
and we're going to continue from yesterday, last night. This is part 3. We're working on part 3 of the Secrets of History, the Two Promised Lands, part 3. All right. So last week, I keep saying last week. Last night, I was emphasizing on. I was pretty much going into the Quiche Nation, the Quiche people, and I made reference to how they came about during the Mayan Empire, the Mayan civilization. The Quiche were in fact the Mayan people. They were in fact the Mayan people. I'm going to go more into detail. I'm kind of doing a recap. Last week we ended up talking about how the Northern Kingdom was pretty much a cosmopolitan in terms of features and racial characteristics. Even though they're the same people, they share a variety of different racial mixture because Northern Kingdom had a habitual tendency to mingle themselves among the nations that they were scattered amongst. Judah as well, Southern Kingdom, but I'm focusing right now on Northern Kingdom, who ended up on this side of the world. I ended up talking about King Solomon and how his fleet came to this side of the world and had knowledge of this side of the world, as did Moses, and that's how Solomon also acquired the knowledge of this side of the world. So, continuing from last night, we're going to go to Britannica.com, Britannica, and we're going to touch on the Quiche people. All right? Let's get that. Let's get that. You got it? Got a one? All right, so let's blow that up.
You got it? Quiche, formerly spelled Quiche.
Right, so oftentimes you'll see it spelled K-I-C-H-E or Q-U-I-C-H-E. It's the same thing, Quiche people. Go ahead.
Also called Quiche Maya.
Quiche Maya. So these are the Mayan people. These are people of the Mayans. These are the Mayan people or the Mayan Empire or Mayan civilization. Go ahead.
Mayan people living in the Midwestern highlands of Guatemala.
Guatemala. All right. So that's the empire extended from within Guatemala. Go ahead.
The Quiche had an advanced civilization in pre-Columbian times with a high level of political and social organization. Archaeological remains show large population centers and a complex class structure. Written records of Quiche history and mythology.
Remember last night I mentioned how the scholars are having a hard time because some of the writings are based in mysticism and also based upon actual events. So when you read about the translations from their native language of this side of the world into Spanish and then eventually into English, they found some complexity, but they managed to get some information out. Go ahead.
Written records of Quiche history and mythology are preserved in a
Popol Vuh.
Popol
Vuh is their written records. Popol Vuh. Go ahead.
And a number of other colonial documents and chronicles, written down in the Quiche language shortly after conquest by the Spaniards in 1524.
So it was written in Quiche language shortly after the conquest by the Spaniards in 1524. Go ahead.
The modern Quiche number somewhat 1 million speakers. In the Quiche language, it's one of the largest Mayan linguistic groups.
See, one of the largest Mayan linguistic groups. Go ahead.
Though no sense of ethnic unity derives from their common language, which is closely related to that of the neighboring Tzul'atujul. And
the Caciquel.
Oh, Caciquel.
Right, so the Caciquel is Cacique. The Cacique goes back to chiefs. So Caciquel, we're going to read basically history on the Caciquel as well. So let's get out of that. We're going to go to the book I want. It's page 160. Last night was 167 regarding... We'll go back to that again. Go to page 167 again. Go back to page 167 again, and we're gonna start. We're gonna start from there. Regarding the records, we read last night. It said that the said manuscript consists of 31 quarto pages, but translation of the first pages is omitted because they are on the creation of the world, of Adam, an earthly paradise, which is the Garden of Eden, in which Eve was deceived by not by a serpent, but by Lucifer himself, as an angel of light. All right, regarding their written records. Okay? Go ahead, read the rest. Whoever's going to read for me? The start, it deals with.
It deals with. Okay. It deals with the posterity of Adam.
Right, the sons of Adam. Go ahead.
Following in every respect the same order as in Genesis. And the sacred books as far as the captivity of Babylon.
So the written records that the Quiche had among themselves goes back as far as the captivity of Babylon. Because this particular group arrived here, or came over here, during the time of Persia. The Persian kingdom conquered Babylon and took their kingdom over. All right, so basically new landlords took the same land over. Go ahead. So the Quiche people had a written record from Genesis going as far as to Babylon. Go ahead.
The manuscript assumes that the three great Quiche nations with which it particularly deals are descendants of the 10 tribes of the kingdom of Israel.
So the Quiche nations or Mayans, with which it particularly deals, are descendants of who?
The 10 tribes of the kingdom of Israel.
Go ahead.
With whom Salmanazar reduced to perpetual captivity, and who, finding themselves on the border of Assyria, resolved to emigrate.
Emigrate where? Here.
Damn.
Emigrate here to America. The Mayans. So the Mayan people are the children of Israel, the Mayans. And we're going to get some history on how the Incas and Mayans are related. And the Aztecs, they're all related. They're all the same family. Okay, read on.
In this version, the spelling and order of words of the original have been followed as far as possible.
So again, this is the record, written records, okay? Translated eventually after the conquest of 1524. When the white man translated, when the colonizers translated the records of the Mayans, they found that these guys have a written record from Genesis going all the way to Babylon, and that they were captive in Assyria, and decided to emigrate over here to a land where never mankind dwelt. So now let's get page 169 of the same book. Still dealing with the Quiche people or Quiche nations and other associated tribes. 169. Let's get some more. We're gonna start from the top. Go ahead, the wise men.
Move it up. The wise men, the Nahales.
The Nawales is in reference to the chiefs or leaders. Nawales, go ahead. Or the gods, the judges of the people. Go ahead.
The chiefs and leaders of the great peoples and of others who joined
Of the
them.
three great peoples, of the three and leaders of the three great peoples. Go ahead.
Who joined them, called you Mamaya.
Mame, go ahead.
The old men.
The old men is the Nawales, the leaders, the chiefs, the caciques. Same thing, or caciquels, same thing. Go ahead.
Extended the sight over the four parts of the world and over all that is beneath the sky, and finding no obstacle, came from the other part of the ocean. Ocean.
Ocean, go ahead. Ocean, the hell?
It's hard. It's hard to read.
Oh God, this is ocean. Ocean.
You see this? It looks like.
Oh Lord, go ahead, Cat. Come on, let's
Cat,
bypass
man,
that. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'm black.
I'm black. Go ahead. The ocean. Go ahead.
From where the sun rises.
So they came from the ocean. When the sun rises, they came from the east. When the sun rises, they came from the east by way of ships. Ocean. Go ahead.
A place called Pa Tulan Pa Savan.
So keep that word in mind. Tulan or Tula. Okay, this word has various meanings. Tula or Tulan and Sivan. But the main word I want to focus on is Tulan. Tulan. Go ahead.
The principal chiefs were four.
The principal chiefs were four. Go ahead.
The first was named Balaam Kitze.
Kitze. So the first chief was named Balaam Kitze. That's in the other book we read before this one. That was last night. I mentioned Balaam Kitze. He was a chief. Balaam Kitze is number one. Go ahead.
Grandfather and father of us, the Kavigib.
So there was different groups. They're all the same people. There's different families. Different families to the same tribe, same group.
Broken up.
Like you have for example, our brothers over there in Africa. You have like the Yoruba, the Igbos, Fulani.
Fulani, you got the Ashanti.
The Shanti. It's all the different names, but same people. Same thing over this side of the world. Go ahead.
The second, Balaam Agab.
Balaam Agab. Now the name Balaam is no coincidence. Balaam Agab. Go ahead. Balaam Agab. Balaam Kitze. Go ahead.
Grandfather and father of those of Nahayib. The third,
Mahukuta. Yeah, Mahukuta, yeah.
Trunk and root of the Quiche.
So the third guy is Mahukuta. He's the chief of the Quiche nation. He's the forefather of the Quiche nation. These are all the same people, brothers, but they all birthed different tribes. So Balaam Kitze gave birth to one group, Balaam Agab gave birth to one group, and Mahukuta gave birth to the Quiche people, or the Mayans. Go ahead.
The fourth
Mayan peoples. Go ahead.
The fourth was named Iki Balaam.
Iki Balaam. Go ahead.
These were the chiefs of the first nation or first tribe of the Quiche.
See, go ahead.
And the wife of Balaam Kitze was named Zakal Paloma.
Right.
The wife of Balaam Agab, Zunami Ha.
The Zunami Ha was Balaam Agab's wife. Zakah Paluma was Balaam Kitze's wife. Go ahead.
The wife of Mahukata, Kahiksa Ha. Iki Balaam was a bachelor.
So Iki Balaam was single. He was a bachelor. Okay, go ahead.
The chiefs of the second nation or tribe of Quiches were. All right, I'll go.
So the word, it says in the bottom, it says the Nawales means the prudent men. That's the leaders. Okay? Go on to the next one. Page 170. Watch this.
Deacon, that's just like in the scriptures, the heads of the families.
Right, the heads of the families. And it gives you the father and mother, the heads of the families. Exactly. The heads of the families. Correct. Go ahead. So it says the chiefs of the second nation or tribe of Quiches were named
Tamub.
Tamub. Go ahead.
There were 4 also. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, Quapicoke.
Read on.
Read on. Quapicoke. Go ahead.
Malakalunum.
Yeah. Quakalam.
And Ukanuval.
I'll read it, but I'm going to try to read it. Quapicoke, Quahalam, Maquinalan, and Aganaville.
Hey, Deacon,
Quaganaville.
just name him David.
Jerome. Mike. Go ahead. These were. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Go ahead. These were
the trunk and root of the princes of Tammuz, who were named Kaku and Agami.
Right. Go ahead.
Together, these tribes came from the other part of the sea, from the east.
From the east. Go ahead.
From Pa Talun, Pa Sivan.
So they came from the east. So Pa Talun and Pa Sivan are areas from the east from which they came from. So the name Tulan is a word that has various meanings, but you're going to find how important these meanings are. Go ahead.
The chiefs of the 3rd Quiche tribe or nation were also 4, and they are Shayatua, Shaya Tuzikwin, Yolkium,
Yokatum,
and Yol Chipel Kumagel.
Yokiramag, Chipo, Kumagel. Go ahead.
These were the trunk and root of the house and families of Galachkiha and of Tsunamiha. But this tribe distinguished itself with the name of Ilkob.
Right.
Ilkob.
Yeah. Lakab. Yeah, whatever. So so the point is that these are all the different families, the heads of the families, different tribes, the same people. Go ahead. Watch this. This is the part we want to deal with.
These, then, were the 3 nations of Quiches, and they came from the sunrises.
They came from where? Read again. These then.
These, then.
Go ahead.
Were the 3 nations of Quiches.
These then were the 3 nations of Quiches. Go ahead.
And they came from where the sun rises.
They came from the east. Watch this.
Descendants of Israel.
Watch this.
Of the same language and the same customs.
Wow.
It's Israel again.
Wow.
Read on. Continue.
When they rose from Patulan.
When they left from Patulan.
Pasivan.
And Pasivan. Go ahead.
The first leader was Balaam Kitze.
So these are the men these are the ones that led the expedition to this side of the world, and they fathered these different tribes that became the Quiche nation on this side. Go ahead.
By unanimous vote.
By what?
Unanimous vote.
And they took counsel among themselves, saying they're going to lead the heathen and come another side of the world. That's the council. Go ahead.
And then the
Hold on. How were they able to vote? Because they knew that our brothers are here already. From Solomon's time, from Moses, they knew it. Said, you know what? Let's leave here and let's go over there. Let's go to the other side of the world. Let's go to the west.
Right. And Deacon, it makes sense because, like I said, why would they go to a place where they have no establishment at all, where they have to start all over?
Right.
And they don't know what's going on. No, they already knew that there's already established trade route and that we had access to the new world.
Exactly.
That's heavy.
From Solomon's time on up. Go ahead.
And just like I was saying yesterday, it's not coincidence. Like when Jerusalem fled into Egypt, when Christ went into Egypt, we have sanctuaries there. We have places of refuge. Even when we pushed further into the west coast of Africa, we already had territories set up. So when we went out there, it was already villages established, Israelite villages.
Right.
To welcome us in.
So we were, and that was during the time of Jeremiah. When we fled into Africa with the Babylonian captivity.
Yep.
You have the Carthaginians, all of that. So it's no difference.
We always remained in close communication with each other, always, and we always had ties and knowledge of where our brothers and sisters were, just in case something popped off or we needed somewhere to go. We had somewhere to. We always. It's like you have. If you have family living somewhere, let's go where your aunt is.
Right.
Let's go where your uncle is. Let's go over there. That's how black folks are. We always have somewhere to go. Go ahead.
When they rose from the Patulan, right there, right?
When they rose from Patulan,
Okay, I'll start there again. Pasivan, the first leader was Balaam Kitze by unanimous vote.
Council.
And then the great father,
Noxik,
gave them a present called Geron Gagal.
So when they came over here, it says their great father, Noxik, gave them a present called the Geron Gagal. The Geron Gagal. Go ahead, we don't find what that is. Go ahead.
When they arrived at the edge of the sea, Balaam Kitze touched it with his staff, and at once a path opened, which then closed up again. For thus the great God wished it to be done, because they were sons of Abraham and Jacob.
Damn. Because they were sons of Abraham and Jacob. Talk about the history of their forefathers back then. Go ahead.
So it was that those 3 nations passed through, and with them 13 others called Vakumag.
Same people. Now, what is the Geron Gagal?
Deacon.
Go down. Yeah.
That goes into when the Most High held still the floods.
Yes.
He says
right.
he had the staff. He said he opened it up. The Most High, he said, like Moses with the Red Sea, the staff.
Yes, sir. Dang.
Yep. Go ahead. Go down to let me see. Going back to Moses, Balan Kitze touched it with the staff, and at once a path opened, which then closed up again, for this the great God wished it to be done with the sons of Abraham and Jacob. Right. So let's go down to number 5, the bundle.
The bundle, symbol of power.
The word Geron Gagal means the bundle. Go ahead. What was it? A what?
The bundle, symbol of power and majesty. The carefully kept stone which, as related further on, made the other peoples fear and respect the Quiches.
Because the Geron Gagal was the Urim and Thummim. It was the Urim and Thummim. That's what it was. It was a stone that they used to communicate with the Lord. So they had access to this. The other tribes were fearful of them because they had counsel from the Lord. The Mayans, they had the Geron Gagal. They came over here with it. Okay? So now it's called the bundle. Where's it at? That's not all I want. It says the bundle, symbol of power and majesty, the carefully kept stone, which, as related further on, made other peoples fear and respect the Quiches. Popol Vuh. So that's written in the Popol Vuh. That's their written records. So now that's all I want. So now let's get Luke 8:17. So these guys are descendants of Abraham and Jacob. You understand? These guys came from the east, a place referred to as Tulan, or Sivan, Pas Sivan. We're going to find out what Tulan is later on. All right?
The book of Luke, chapter 18.
8 verse 17.
8 verse 17.
Uh-huh.
The book of Luke, chapter 8, verse 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
So the Most High, as we approach the last days, we're coming to understand that the Lord is going to start bringing to our attention all the history that's been hidden from us for hundreds of years, but we weren't allowed to read or come across ever. Now we're starting to come across this information and present it to our people. So what was secret to us is not being made manifest. Give me Obadiah 6. Obadiah 6.
Obadiah.
It was a little small, but come on, brother.
Obadiah 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?
Right. The Most High reveals his hidden things. Esau's hidden things is our records. But we're reading in these books, listen, I'm going to be real, man. No matter how bad it sounds, black folks don't read these kind of books. Black folks do not read these kind of books. We spend our time, we spend hundreds of dollars on these books the way Negroes spend hundreds of dollars of books on sneakers and belts.
Right.
On Jordans and video games and game systems. We buying these books. We got books that's damn near worth the price of that's worth the price of a freaking house. That's damn near worth a year of mortgage payments. We have ownership and access to books like that, because those books have information that is vital to presenting who we are as a people. All right, that's been kept secret from us.
Hey, Deacon, instead of us standing in line for sneakers, we rather stand in line for books.
Yep, exactly. We pride ourselves in buying these books to share with y'all. Now, some of y'all been asked on a comment board, what are the name of these books? I'm gonna say to y'all again, I'm not sharing that with you. And not out of arrogance or pride or being stingy, but because enemies are watching. And what they do is they bring the books back to our enemies and try to dismantle it, or they increase the price of the book, or the book goes out of print mysteriously. Or goes to our, like the book, the bishop showed a book on, what was it called? The Jews by Seymour, something Seymour. Forgot the name of the book. When it goes into the Inquisition.
The Jews in Spain, the Jews and the Moors of Spain, I think.
Not that one. Another one. I forgot what it's called.
No,
Something,
that's
no,
one of the
Lieberman.
Latinos, right?
Lieberman.
That's
Something
one of the
Lieberman.
Latinos.
On the Latinos.
Okay.
That book is $4,000 now.
The Jews is something 1492.
Something about the Jews, jury, something jury.
Jury of
by,
1492?
By Lieberman? No, something like that. I forgot the title,
Damn.
but it's called something Lieberman. It's like 4 G's. Book was $20 last year. Now it's $4,000. Why? Out of print. I can't find it nowhere. As the bishop, stop mentioning the books' names. Because these books, they're raising the price of the books so niggas can't buy them. See, Esau is watching what we buy. They keep track of what you buy.
Yes, yes.
When you go to order something on Amazon, they give you references. They start to get a library on you. So that's why we are very, very careful with books that we bring out and not to name them, not out of hatred for y'all, but if we can't get access to the books, we can't share the information. So I'm not saying anything. I'm just going to present it, bring it out, and keep call it a day.
Don't take offense, Israel.
No offense. So now, get Daniel 2, verse 21. Daniel 2, 21, right before Ezekiel. Or was it after?
After.
After, yeah.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 21. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge.
The Most High gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge. Go ahead.
To them that know understanding.
To us that know understanding. Go ahead.
He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him.
So the Most High is the one that reveals these things to us. We come across these books. It is no coincidence. I brought this out last night. There is no such thing as coincidence, only providence.
Yeah.
Guidance to the Lord. Okay?
Yeah.
So now, let's get Psalms 111, verse 10. Psalms 111, verse 10.
The book of Psalms, chapter 111, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
So the Most High reveals his secrets and manifests things that are in the darkness. So what? Read again.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Go ahead.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever.
When you keep his commandments, you receive understanding. You receive understanding. All right? When you keep his commandments. And when you keep his commandments, and the Most High gives you understanding, he reveals secret things to you. Whether it be history, understanding in the scriptures, of course that comes first, because without the Bible, you can't deal with history at all. All right? So now, let's go back to the books again. Let's get the next book. I want page 104. All right? Page 104. Page 104. Regarding Toulon. Watch this. Let's see. Toulon. Yep, read that. We're going to start from home. Let me see where I'm starting from the ending. At last, we're going to end on continent.
You want the exact location of Toulon?
The underline.
Where it says at last, not there. It says at last, 104.
Yeah.
At last, and we're going to end at continent.
Yeah.
Right there.
Okay. At last, at the noonday of their national glory, it came to pass that the ancestors of their race, Balaam Kitze, died.
See, Balan Kitze. Remember him, the chief? Go ahead.
The men who came from the east.
The men who came from the east, where the sun rises. That was the last book. Go ahead.
From across the sea.
From
died.
across the ocean. They came from the east. They didn't come from Asia, Bering Strait. That is garbage. There is no Bering Strait. There's no evidence of that. They came from the ocean on the east, from the east. Go ahead, from the right-hand side. Go ahead.
And the remains were enveloped in a
Enveloped.
great... Can you enlarge it a little bit? Bring it closer.
Yeah.
And bring it to the right.
Yeah, move it over.
Yeah,
Blow it up, move it over.
Thank you.
And
the remains were enveloped in a great bundle and preserved as memorials of the ancestors of the race.
Right, they buried him. Go ahead.
Then the Quiche sang and said,
Sing the sad
Then the
Kamaku.
Quiche sang the sad Kamaku and mourned the loss of their leaders and that the portion of their race which they left behind them in Toulon.
So the elders came over here with them, but they, of course, they got older and they died, and they buried them. They buried these chiefs and remembered their race they left behind, their family that they left behind back in Toulon. Okay? Watch this.
The exact location of Toulon is a subject of dispute among historians.
So where Toulon is subject. I believe there's 4 Toulons. 4. 2 on this side and 2 on the other side of the world. Watch this.
4 different places.
There we go. 4 different places. Go ahead.
With this same name are certainly mentioned in Popol Vuh, 2 across the sea and 2 on this continent.
2 across the sea and 2 on this continent. So now, let's get page 105 and start at the other. So move it over, blow it up, and go to the other. And later Toulon. Toulon, same place. Right there, the other. Just blow it up. So we guys are right. Oh, we guys that page. Yep, okay. Right there.
The other and later Toulon was doubtless in the state of Chiapas.
Right, like the Chiapas, we read about last night, the Chiapanese. People who are of Chiapa were referred to as the Chiapanese, okay? I believe that's Mexico. Go ahead.
Near the ancient city of
Chibalba.
A
city called Chibalba or Chibalbians. Go ahead.
And the Toulon north of Anuak.
Uh-huh.
What is now Mexico's national capital.
Watch. Go ahead.
The Maya Quiches.
The Maya Quiches. Go ahead.
Doubtless mingled with the Nahuas.
Nuas is Issachar. It's Aztecs. The Nahuas, or the Aztecs. Go ahead. They mingle together. Go ahead.
And after appropriating certain elements of their language, worship, and other customs, migrated southward again and established the Quiche.
Caciquel.
Thank you. Caciquel monarchy in Guatemalian about the 11th century.
Go ahead.
Colonies spread further south into various parts of Central America, where remnants of their people and evidences of their former glory are found to this day.
Go ahead.
The purely Maya branch of the family are found in considerable numbers in the state of Yucatan, and are the admiration of all travelers. Their cleanliness, the intelligence, and quiet habits being marked characteristics of the race.
So these families intermingled. The Aztecs and Mayans intermingled and eventually moved southward. They migrated together. These two intermarried. But they maintained their individuality, but they occasionally intermarried. All right? Now, we're going to stop at the race.
So I thought we were a race of savages that needed to be civilized.
Yeah, apparently not.
Apparently not.
Let's get page 107. We're going into the ancient empire. This is the pre-Aztec, Mayan, and Incan civilizations. Let's get page 107. And we're going to start at We Now in page 107. We Now. And we're going to end at 108, where it says certainty. Yeah, we're going to read on. Page 107, we're going to start at We Now.
Hey, Deacon, real quick, the Chiapanese, which come from Chiapas, is a state of Mexico.
Right, state of Mexico. Thank you. It's a state of Mexico. All right? So go to We Now Come To on page 107.
Okay. So you Mexicans are the tribe of Issachar.
Right. We're going to get
That's right.
We're going to get that.
That bordered Texas.
Mm-hmm. oh, man. We're doing that today. All right. Go to We Now. Blow that up.
Why do you guys have it, it's all sideways?
Because you can't talk about Mexico without talking about Texas.
Yeah, California, Texas.
It goes hand in hand.
I see shots are being taken. All right. Let's continue reading. We Now Come To.
Hey, can you go out?
Brothers, blow it up. Take it.
Mm-hmm. We now come to another chapter of legendary history, which is difficult to treat. Difficult because so misty. We refer to the races occupying the central and northern part of the country in pre-Toltec times. These are generally known as the Nuhawa nations.
So keep in mind the term Toltec. Toltecs come from the Aztecs, I believe. They come after the Aztecs. Toltecs. Go ahead. I believe so. Well, we're going to touch on that again. All right. So if I'm in the error right now, I'll fix it next week regarding the Toltecs. I believe the Toltecs came after the Aztecs. Go ahead. Or before the Aztecs. Go ahead.
And divided into into at least 8 families.
So they divided into at least 8 families. Go ahead.
Bancroft arranges them as follows. Quinams,
The Quinams, so keep that name in mind. The Quinams. The Chinams, Quinams, whatever. Chinames, whatever, Quinams. Keep that name in mind. It's very important, that name. Go ahead.
Olmecs,
Olmecs, remember them? The Olmecs. These are all the same families. It says the pre-Toltec times. These are generally known as the Nua nations, divided into at least 8 families. You have the Quinams, the Olmecs. That's them giant heads over there in Americas. Olmecs, keep that in mind. Olmecs, go ahead. Sri Lankas.
Sri Lankas,
Sri Lanka, yeah, go ahead.
Totonacs,
Totonacs,
Hustecs,
Huastecs, go ahead.
Mystecs,
Uh-huh,
Zopotecs,
uh-huh.
and Otomis.
And Atomies. So the most important ones I have highlighted here is Quinames, Olmecs, and Atomies. Keep those names in mind. Yeah.
And Deacon, yeah, you're right. The Toltec came before the Aztec.
The Toltec came
I just
before,
looked- I just
the
looked it up.
pre-Aztec. They came before the Aztecs. So
predecessor.
the Aztecs come out of them. The Aztecs come out of the Toltecs. These are pre-Aztecs. Go ahead. And this is pre-Mayan, and these are pre-Inca civilizations that became those ancient empires. These are their forefathers. These are their predecessors. All right, go ahead.
Señor Orozco.
Hold on, see, I want you to stop. Read the whole thing. Go ahead, go ahead.
Señor Orozco y
Bara.
Bara says that the Quiquetecs,
Uh-huh.
Triquis, Sinatacs, Zatecs,
Mazatecs,
Chatinos,
Papabucos, Soltecos, Chantales, and Cohicuas. Go ahead.
belong to the same time.
They're all around the same time. These guys are all around, these families, these 8 families are all around the same time and became the progenitors of the Maya, Inca, and Aztec civilizations. And Toltecs, all that stuff. Go watch this.
Pritchard, in his Natural History of Man, Volume 2, page 512, adds the Coras, Tapanecs, and Tarascos.
A whole bunch of families, but some of these names all refer to one people. So it's like one family will have 3 different names. So it's not a whole bunch. So it's a bit misty. Like he said earlier, it's a bit misty. Go ahead.
The Codices, the
Vaticanus.
Vaticanus.
The Codices Vaticanus. The Codex Vaticanus. We had what was called, we had tablets and written records. They called it a codex. So the Roman Catholic Church came and referred to it as the Codices Vaticanus. Go ahead. Vatican. Go ahead.
The Codices Vaticanus
And
and Tellerianus give the names as follows.
Watch this.
Olmecs,
Olmecs.
Xenocales,
Chilancala.
Shinacanas,
Chilancas. I'm sorry, Chilancas.
Chalancas.
Chichimecs.
Oh yeah, you just can go.
I'll read it.
again.
Olmecs, Chilancas, Chicalancas, Chichimecs, and Nonohualcas. Michinax, Nakas.
Michael.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah,
Mike.
Mike.
Jerome.
Conicas, Tot, and Quetzalcoatl. Okay, so they give different names. But it's all the same people. All the same, different names for various families, all the same. Go ahead, watch this.
In the light of the most recent investigations, none of these lists is entirely satisfactory.
Why? Read on.
Doubtless, different names have been given to the same tribe.
So some of these names refer to the same people. Go ahead.
And in some cases, the names simply refer to families of one and the same,
Same nation. So all these guys listed here are all the same nation. Different families, same nation. Watch this.
We cannot pretend to be wise about another
Above another.
in the matter and can only follow our humble judgment in a case which seems to us to require more light from the honest. From honest
And
go on.
learned investigators. Page 108. We're going to stop at 108 where it says country. Make sure you keep the top part cut off. Under the best of your ability.
The names. Yeah, I'm good. You know, the names. Deacon is very well versed in reading the Northern Kingdom names.
I feel like taking shots again.
You know,
I feel like shots are being shot again.
not everybody has a spirit to interpret the names.
Of Northern Kingdom.
Yeah, Judah, you know, we keep it simple. Jerome, January, September,
That's all we
August.
know.
That's because you don't read nothing. Get learned investigators. Get top of that, man. And learn investigators. Go ahead.
Wait,
Yeah, I know. And learned investigators. Because the title of the book is on top. That's why you can't go that low.
okay,
With the cursor, so
yeah. and learned investigators before one can speak with any degree of certainty.
So they're saying we can't just go all in. We got to make sure we got our facts straight before we can present the case, is what he's saying. We got to investigate first. Go ahead, regarding these people. Different names. Go ahead.
The chief authority for this uncertain history is the Codex Chimpalpoca. It is an anonymous record written in Aztec.
Written in Aztec. We had written records. Go ahead.
But with Spanish letters.
Go ahead.
Copied by...
Yeah, okay.
Oh, Lord.
Quetzalcoatl. Go ahead.
Kutu.
Uh-huh.
It belongs to the famous Butterini collection.
Uh-huh.
Even this has never been published. It is only known by occasional references to it contained in the works of Brazier de Bourbourg. From the Abbé, we quote the following. This is the beginning of the history of things which came to pass long ago.
That's what they translated so far. Go ahead.
The division of the earth, the property of all, the origin and its foundation, as well as the manner in which the sun divided it 6 times 400 plus 100 plus 13 years ago today, the 22nd of May, 1558. That is 955 BC, a date accepted by most Spanish and Mexican authors.
So they're saying that this date's the most accepted date regarding their establishment, 955. Go ahead.
And strangely enough, it corresponds exactly with the date admitted by Dr. J.W. Foster in his Prehistoric Races.
Which I have also. We're going to read that later on. Go ahead.
And the list of pre-Toltec nations.
The list of pre-Toltec nations. This is before Aztecs. Go ahead.
Above mentioned, the Quinams comes first.
Here we go. Above mentioned, the Quinams come first. Pre-Toltecs, the Quinams come first. Remember the Quinams, Olmecs, and the Otomies. Keep that in mind. Toltenecs, Chichimecs. Go ahead.
And are generally called giants.
So the Quinames are called giants. The Quinames are called giants. Go ahead.
The name signifying men of great stature.
Or position. They were considered, it was figurative. Men of great stature or position. We'll get that later on. Go ahead.
They are traditionally assigned as the first inhabitants of nearly every part of the country.
They were the original inhabitants of that part. Quinams. Go ahead. Torquemada.
Torquemada and...
No, that's all I want. It's country. That's all I want. So now, Quinams. Let's get page 106. We're going to start at Max Muller. Go back. We're going to go backwards. Page 106. We're going to start at Max Muller and end at
Deacon,
Champollion.
so the Quinams, the Toltecs, the Quinamis, all these...
Quinams, Olmecs,
Olmec,
Toltecs. These are all
predates the
predate
Aztecs,
Aztec,
Mayans,
Incan, right.
which were of the migration in 539 BC, Ezra's time.
Right.
Okay.
Before and after. I'll say before and after. These guys were pretty much the founders of those empires. The founders of them that established them through migrations and so forth and intermingling. All right? You got page 106? Yes, sir. I want to start at Max Muller, and we're going to end at Champollion, or whatever the hell that means. I'll get back to y'all on that, what that means. I haven't read this in a while. I just wrote it all down.
Where's Amalek with their books? Where's their records? They're not going to bring out information like this.
They're not.
No, sir.
All they got to do is say, we own everything. Be quiet.
Right, and anti-Semitism.
That's it. That's all they have. They have no historical records.
Yep.
They got no scholarship.
They're weak. Page 106, start at Max Muller.
Max Muller well says,
The Usamangcintas.
the Usamangcitas seem a kind of central point for the high culture of Central America.
Right.
And the famous explorer Charnay adds, Palenque will probably someday decide the question of American civilization. It only awaits a Champollion.
Being someone to bring it out more. So the Usamangcintas represents, it means central area. This is Palenque, will probably someday. So watch this. That name, Usamangcintas. Keep that name in mind. We're going to go to the next book, page 199. Page 199. All right?
You all right, Cap?
I'm good.
All praise.
Page 199. So we got the books. Y'all can sit up there and say anti-Semitic if you want to, man. But you're going to get destroyed. That's why they don't have us on their shows. They're going to keep blacklisting us and taking us, not having us on TV. They know what's going to happen if they have us on them shows.
I'll do the same thing about us now.
They'll get destroyed. Yeah, I do the same thing about them. Yeah. Them Negroes read. Don't have them on the show. They read. Don't have them on the show. Them dudes read. Put the mumbling Negroes from the South on there in the show instead. Don't put the Negroes that speak coherent sentences. Don't put the Negroes that speak proper English. Put the ones that's from the South that talk nonsense about wops and foolishness. Put them on the show. Page 199, we're going to start where it says the central ore. You got it? Page 199. The central ore, yep, it's right there. The central ore, Usumacinta again. That word again, different book, same thing again. Go ahead.
The central or Usumacinta.
So Usumacinta means the central, the area, the main area, central. Go ahead.
Region was the most ancient home to which, by monument, tradition, or record, this civilization could be traced. For many centuries prior to the Christian era, it was the seat of the Mayan kingdom of the Chans or serpents, whose capital was Nishan or Palenque.
Right. So the capital was what? Read again. So many centuries again. For many
centuries prior to the Christian era.
Prior to being conquered or colonized. Go ahead.
It was the seat of the Mayan kingdom.
It was the seat. So Usumacinta was the seat of the Maya kingdom. The Maya kingdom. Go ahead.
Of the Shans or serpents, whose capital was Nishan or Palenque.
Or Palenque. Read there earlier also. Palenque. Go ahead. Page 200. To which, Palenque, to which.
Got it?
Come on. Let's go. To the very top.
To which reference has already been made. From the center, which embrace one of the most delightful and fertile regions of the New World. The volcanic power gradually extended northward towards Anuak, whose people appear in the traditional records either as physical
or what?
Or intellectual Quinamis or giants.
So them being giant represents their intellect or their status. The Quinams were chiefs. They were a vast major empire before the pre-Mayan, pre-Aztec, pre-Inca. Called the Quinams or Quinames. Go ahead. Or Chinames, whatever. Go ahead.
It also penetrated eastward.
Hold on, let me see. I want you to stop it. Hold on. 200. That's all I want. Go back to the other book. Go back to the other book again. Get page 108. Go back to the other book and get page 108 now. So now we know the Quinames were either records of as physical or intellectual Quinams or giants. Okay? Get page 108. I'm going somewhere with this. Just bear with me for a moment. They all remember, we read earlier, they're all the same family. The Quinams, Olmecs, Toltecs, all the same family. All created. The Maya come out of them, the Aztecs come out of them, and the Incas come out of them. Now, page 108. Right? Let me get there with you. I'm going to read along. Go ahead.
Take your notes, Israel. Take your notes.
Yeah, we're going to start at Torquemada.
And like I say, you guys don't have to have the books. You can take the screenshots of the pages and use that information. Is whatever the way Deacon is bringing out, the information he's bringing out. Take the notes, like I said, take the screenshots, and just bring the same thing out. Northern Kingdom, step your game up, teach your people.
So we're going to start at, in page 108, we're going to start at Torquemada. Torquemada is the bottom statement, right there in the bottom. Torquemada and Vetia reject the idea.
Torquemada. Can you put the cursor where it's located?
It's right there in the very bottom.
They're traditionally Torquemada. Anybody see? Okay, right there.
Yeah, the bottom.
Torquemada and Vetia reject the idea that a race of giants
actually existed.
But Geron gives it as a fact.
So some believe that these guys are either metaphorically referred to as giants or referred to as giants intellectually or their status as giants. Okay? So they're saying that Duran says these guys were literally giants. Some say no, these guys weren't giants. That's just metaphorical. Go ahead.
Clavigedo.
Clavigedo.
Oh.
Yeah, clavigato, whatever. Go ahead.
Clavigato says, nor can we be persuaded that there has ever been, as those writers imagine, a whole nation of giants, but only single individuals.
Right, go ahead.
In the National Museum of Mexico may be seen a skeleton found on the Gulf Coast and said to be that of Negro Quiname.
Be of what?
Negro Quiname.
Of Negro. Quiname. Negro.
Damn.
Quiname. Negro. These is black people that they found buried of them. Remember, these are the forefathers of the Mayan, Inca, and Aztec. And we read earlier that their forefathers what? Abraham and Jacob. Go ahead, continue. And they came from the east. They came from Tulan. Go ahead.
Tu es moreno.
Right.
Quiname, which stands over 7 feet high.
So they were tall. They found skeletons. They were like 7 feet tall. We were tall. Go ahead.
Damn.
So that's not abnormal. You have Shaq. That's not abnormal.
Right.
We've always been tall. Tall is normal for us. Be quiet, Cap. Tall is normal for us.
Makes sense.
Does not make any sense.
This is Issachar.
No.
This is Issachar.
Cap, I'm on the same
It's not
way.
saying- it's
I'm
not-
on the
it's not
same
saying
way
it's
with you,
Issachar.
Cap.
Wait, how tall are you, Deacon?
Let's continue reading.
Yo, things is adding up in the books.
Oh, man.
My
Wow.
height is of no consequence. Let's continue reading.
Well, let's go back. Wow.
Yeah, we just read about Deacon.
I don't like what's being said.
Let's go back to the book.
We'll go after the book. Read past
Hey,
that.
go back to the book.
Read past that part. We go several other facts. Several other facts.
Go back to the book.
There we go. Several other facts. Off from several other facts.
The National Museum of Mexico may be seen a skeleton found on the Gulf Coast and said to be that of Negro Quiname, which stands over 7 feet high.
I'm not over 7 feet, but go ahead, man.
So we are shorter in stature.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Several other facts are quoted as evidence
That-
that these giants were probably Negroes.
So probably they were Negro. Go ahead.
Among the great variety of idols frequently discovered in excavations now going on at Tatahican.
Yeah,
Tatahican. Many are found representing African features.
Yeah, black features,
Wow.
Negro features. Go ahead.
The large nose and thick lips being especially noticeable.
Go ahead.
In 1860, in the
Hacienda,
Hacienda de Huapan, state of Veracruz,
Veracruz, Mexico. Veracruz. Go ahead.
workmen accidentally unearthed a gigantic head of granite nearly 5 feet high and of corresponding proportions.
That's them Olmec heads, giant heads. Go ahead.
The features are clearly Ethiopian.
Neat black. Go ahead.
Later, a great stone hatchet was found with a face carved on the handle, also containing Ethiopian features.
Black features. That's all I want. Now, let's get page 1.
So, Deacon, these were our original features.
Right. This guy Isaiah 48 verse 1.
Wow.
Isaiah 48 verse 1.
We were tall.
We were tall. You were very tall.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 1. Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah, which swear by the name of the Lord, and make mention of the God of Israel.
So, read it again.
Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah.
So, how did Jacob come out of the waters of Judah? How'd that happen? Jacob is Judah's father. So, how did Jacob come out of the waters of Judah? Because God would be Judah. Adam would be Judah. Christ is Judah.
That's right.
Damn.
Everyone is pretty much everyone's Judah. Pretty much. All 12 pretty much is Judah. Abraham would be Judah. Isaac would be Judah.
Well, you said all 12.
All 12, well, I'm saying the 12 tribes come out of Judah. I'm saying much. All 12 came out of Judah.
Not all 12 of Judah.
All 12 came
It's
out
only
of Judah.
one Judah.
You know what I mean? All 12 came out of Judah. I'm Judah. All 12 came, I'm Judah. All 12 came out of Judah.
Judah, baby.
Anyway, all 12 tribes came out of Judah. All right? That's what it means. All right? All, it says come forth, it says Jacob, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah. So Israel, pretty much, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had a tribe, they would be Judah also. All right? Everyone pretty much comes from Judah. Adam as well, pretty much. So now, meaning everyone was black, pretty much. So now, just get that old book regarding the Native Americans being, what they say, they're ugly, that one. This page is an image of a screenshot.
Yes, sir. It's on. Brothers, check the group. I got the airdrop. I just send it right now.
Right. Thank you, Abiel. You had a brother named Jasper Yanga of Veracruz, Mexico. Jasper Yanga was brought over there. He was brought over, though. He was a slave brought over there from the Gabon people of West Africa. But that's later on.
You have it, soldier?
He was brought over there. He wasn't from there. He was brought over there. But he was also us. Yes.
Page 282.
Hey, Israel, make sure you take this class and flood all block spots, all Issacharite block spots or Northern Kingdom block spots.
Deacon I thought is Asher. Yo, Gideon, be quiet, man. I'm Judah all day. There's evil in your heart. Go ahead. Hell is this?
Just remember Texas.
All right, let's just continue reading. This is a book. How old is this book? Like 18?
1830, 1840s.
So there's a lot of racist nonsense they write in here about the Native Americans. Read the bottom blue highlights there regarding the Native American features. Watch what he says. Remember, last night we read Native Americans are called what? Nigger. They were referred to as nigger or tree niggers or prairie. Thank you, Halez. Prairie niggers. They called them prairie niggers too. Read that.
The physiognomy of these Indians is ugly.
The physiognomy, their features is ugly. According to white standards. Go ahead.
Stupid and savage.
And they're savage. Go ahead.
Otherwise, they are all well formed.
They're built well. Go ahead.
Tolerably tall.
They're tolerably tall, pretty tall.
And of a dark brown complexion.
Go ahead.
The women are short and very ugly.
This Edomite is the devil. Go ahead. They were not ugly. Go ahead.
They have much of the Negro in their countenance.
See what they're saying about them? They have much of the Negro in their countenance, in their face. Negro faces. Go ahead. Watch this. So that's ugly to the white man. Go ahead.
Only.
Next page. And this book is like what? Like $2,000. This book?
I don't know how much.
This
It's
book
up there,
is,
but
this book is like in the thousands. This book here is in the thousands.
the year is 1815.
1815. This book is 1815. Go ahead. It's rough in the thousands. Go ahead. We're gonna get it though. We're gonna get it. Go ahead.
That a Negro head may be called handsome.
Go back. I'm gonna go back to the bottom part. Go back to the other parts. I want to cut it off. Let's go back to the first part so you can read into the next part. 'Cause that just threw me off alone.
Yeah. I think we could buy something that's switcher, right?
Or do it side by side.
Side by side or something.
Can y'all do a side by side of the book? If you could do that so Cap don't get confused.
So we gotta see if we can purchase something that can do switching, right? Is there something for that? I can switch the pages?
So I'm showing y'all thus far that the Quinamis, the Atamis, Olmecs, we're going to find who the Olmecs were. We're going to find out who the Quinamis were. Okay? Go ahead. So the physiognomy of the... Go ahead, read it again.
You have the book, the original book?
I don't have the original book.
Shoot.
So just read it again. We'll
All
just hold the thought. Go ahead.
The physiognomy of the Indians is ugly, stupid, and savage. Otherwise, they are well formed, tolerably tall,
Tolerably tall.
and of dark brown complexion.
Uh-huh.
The women are short and very ugly. They have much of the Negro in their countenance.
They have much of the Negro in their countenance. Only... Come on.
Get it up.
They have much of the Negro in their countenance. Only.
Come on, brothers.
Oh, God. You're just there. Come on. Only that...
That a
what?
Negro, is that it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Only that a Negro head may be called handsome in comparison with theirs.
So they're making fun of us, saying, well, the Negro head's more pretty compared to their head. Go ahead.
They are principally distinguished from the Negroes
So they're principally distinguished from Negroes based upon what?
by their very long and smooth and coal black hair.
The only difference between them and Negroes is that their hair is finer than the other Negroes. They have Negro features, but their hair is finer. Not kinky, but fine. But they have Negro faces.
just so you guys have an example, just put the camera
Cap,
on.
don't do this, man.
So
Yeah,
Jazz,
put the
real
camera
quick.
on, Jazz.
Deacon,
Just so
please.
the
Real quick.
description of what we
Oh,
can.
man.
So, hey, can we put that up real quick?
Yeah.
Can we read that one more time? So, like I said, we could get, clear distinctions, descriptive.
Wow.
So it says, they are principally distinguished from the negroes by their very long, smooth, and cold black hair. Now put the camera back. So you
Wow.
guys, you see that?
Hey,
So he has
shalom,
he has Negro features, and look at his hair, smooth.
Right, smooth.
And
Smooth as
cold
butter.
black.
Smooth as butter.
I'm
It's
Judah.
not kinky.
This is
Not
all
kinky.
wool. This is pure wool.
Right, it's a wool that's at the very, very, very top of the sheep's hair. Very, very top, fluffy top. The fluffy fluff top of the sheep, that's where his hair starts.
All praises. All praises.
You shear the sheep down to the bottom, that's where Judah's wool is at. The Judah wool. All right. Thank you, Jess, for being an example, brother. All
Thank
praise
you,
to the
sir.
Lord. Give me the YouTube video. I didn't send this to y'all. Damn. I didn't think I'd go this far. We got a commercial break? About to? All right, so give me Jeremiah 14:2. Let's get that real quick. Jeremiah 14:2. That way I can just send the video over to y'all after this. And you're going to find the reason why I didn't bring this out, the reason why the Olmec heads were built, because the Olmec heads represented the leaders or the chiefs of the natives on the land. And they believed that the soul or the spirit resided in their head. That's why they put the Olmec heads there. And the word Olmec means rubber, because the land was rich with rubber. Okay, rubber, they called them the rubber people. All right, the rubber people, because the land itself was rich with rubber, that area. All right? And they are the forefathers of the Mayans, Incas, and Aztecs. They are not Ham. If we say they're Ham, we got a problem with never mankind dwelt. Okay? Gotta stop that. So it's going into what is it? So you Israelites that hate Northern Kingdom say, oh yeah, I'm the Hamites. No, that comment was for you. They are Northern Kingdom also. Olmecs are the progenitors of the Aztec, Inca. We'll get that. We're gonna find out which one they are offshoot of. Who's an offshoot of the Olmecs. All right. So Jeremiah 14:2.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground.
They are black unto the ground, like Adam was, unto the ground, dust to the ground. Go ahead.
And the cry of Jerusalem is going up.
So again, Judah mourns, the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground. So, excuse me. So Judah, the Jews are black. They don't say they wear black like you are imposters over there. It says they are black, not wear black. With curls on the side, it says they are black, just as Adam was, ruddy, brown complexion, like the natives on this side of the world, brown complexion. Now you'll find that some Native Americans had the fine, smooth, black, cold black hair, and some had the woolly hair. We're gonna get the pictures of them also. They had woolly hair. They had afros. I got pictures of them also. I got Aztec pictures. I have pictures of Aztecs couple with a big woolly afro. I'm gonna put that up after this. We come back from our commercial break. I'm gonna show y'all Aztecs. I'm gonna show them to you. Show you their hair and their nose. I'll show you all of that. Cause y'all Negroes is confused out here. Y'all are simple as hell. Because again, this hatred of oh, her hair isn't woolly. Well, listen, you had Native Americans who had Negro features with fine hair. Look at Brazilian sisters. Brazil, Colombia. They be black as night with fine hair. Look at Cuban sisters or brothers. Black as night with fine hair. Dominican. Puerto Rican. Not everyone of Israel has woolly hair. Israel's features vary. And they varied for centuries, even before we became a nation. We were produced by 5 different women. 2 Hebrew women and 3 heathen women. So it's not a coincidence that these guys will be giants. It wouldn't be a coincidence because we intermarried with Egyptians and so forth. We intermarried with them. You understand? So this nonsense of, oh yeah, you can't be Israel if your hair isn't woolly. You retarded. You got light-skinned brothers saying that, you ain't Israel. Man, you got to be dark. You ain't dark. The hell is this? Some brothers got wives high yellow. Yeah, you got to be dark to be Israel. Well, your wife ain't Israel then.
Right.
So, brothers and sisters, do not be misled. Do not be confused. All right? Don't fall for the okie doke. All right? That's the proper way to say it. Okie doke. For the brother.
The oopie doop.
The
Oopie
oopie-doop.
doopie. The oopie doop. Nah, but all jokes aside, just stay with us. I'm gonna bring more of this out. The series is gonna open up a lot more doors of information regarding our history on this side of the world, and eventually we're gonna go back to the other side of the world. All right, so stay tuned. Next commercial.
Hey,
So with the split screen.
When they refused to let God's people go.
We stand together like legs on the centipede and put our knees in the neck of our enemies. I don't got no time for no negative energy. It's hard to get oppression out of my memories. Yeah, why are we supposed to be passive? Edomites out here acting real blackish. Black lives really don't matter till Christ come back and turn the world into ashes. Yeah. See, we gon' need some payback ASAP. Oppression make a wise man mad like Deacon Asaph. See, they ain't trying to pay the fee for slavery. Whitewashing entities striving to erase black. We gotta face facts, gotta be rational. I'm reppin' IU, we everywhere, international. We need our land back, absolute, non-taxable. And it's a real revolution, that's factual.
Deacon Labaca, it's hammer time. Focus when I handle mine. Romans in that chapter 9, exposing all they fascist lies. We the ones they patronize, they the ones we agonize. With broken bones and blackened eyes, the toll of death we maximize. And if you plan on making the kingdom, then let's go. We kicking in doors, burning down walls, no asbestos. And I'ma tell you straight and direct, no innuendos. And we gon' get away with it, why? Because we special, huh? And when that sky crack, it's over for a heathen. Can't forget the 2/3 of my people stuck in treason. Celebrating holidays ain't even got a reason. So I'm sticking Santa's head in a bag, cause 'tis the season. That zoonosis was the cause of the COVID. Then they switched the focus to killing us in the open. But that ain't new, they've been throwing Jews in the ocean, you know. Gator baiting the black babies for tokens. Them little henchmen been Willie lynching for a pension. Then they sent the ascension. Yeah, we the chosen, but still ain't learning a lesson. We gotta keep the laws if we really seek the vengeance. This the payback, charged up since way back. The Lord got a spirit bomb, no man can escape that. And all you cats corrupt, word to Deacon Asaph is repent or die, ain't no easier way to say that. They realize that my family ties could cause demise. They try to cause divides and then conquer, but they compromise. All I see is death and dishonor being personified by bona fide basement in the basement where they mom reside.
The payback. Oh, that's right, y'all. This is the payback. Oh yeah, Esau, you know what's coming for you. You know what's coming for you now. And listen, the payback. Ha, hit me. You would've thought they seen it coming. The patience of the saints, man, we waiting to see them plummet. We talking basement, even the basement above them. It ain't gonna be no more running, ain't gonna be no more of them. We see the seed of Satan deceiving, but we been waiting. When he come with flame, it's gonna be Edom that need the saving. So face it and read the book of Revelation. Obadiah, Isaiah, either way you wanna play it. I seen slaves on the horse, kings walk the earth. Time to flip it back in order, Uno card reverse. The time is ticking till the slaughter come that y'all deserve. The time is ticking till the daughter of Babylon burns. You gotta know we coming. You stole the chosen land, just know the plan. The son of man is coming, then it's over for you. Go grab some soap or something, cause blood is on your hands. So don't misunderstand the payback coming like we owe you something.
Rainy days will pray it, this Mayweather will be no more. While they swinging, the Lord of me, they soil desolate up in this land of whores. 10 rivals with 7 heads, injector with bombs like Al-Qaeda. We drop diamonds, now Babylon, she lopsided. Beside my 40 acres, run me my planet. I boast against America, cause my blood is the advantage. They hated Messiah first, so who am I to fail them? Tell Edgar who was followers, we go harder than the Panthers. This answer is for your babies, your mother's sons and your daughters. In vanity you conceived, it was multiplied for the slaughter. Never give them a drop of water. Just build our towers for 23 hours. You slaving and filling public housing. It's death before the dishonor. Your death accepted by Father, cause your manners ain't sitting right in my presence. You should be down to the power possessed, the flip converted, change entire counties. Our payback collecting bounties, what pavement of heaven shouted.
The payback. Oh, that's right, y'all.
Yeah. We're only as strong as our weakest. What the Jews that do what you won't do. Like after prayer, go and get it. Might as well boycott marching. Cause after king, it ain't it. Got keeping these laws, yup. The first thing on my hit list. Got enough wine in my cup. With a patch of beer to go with it. I'm illuminated, I shine. No recompense for your crimes. What's missing in unity was a lot of you in and not I. Got IUIC up in the forefront, and instead of love, you despise. How we supposed to come together when we add all you do is divide? Never break, they say they made it, but the people at the bottom made. Now we say that our God is great. The sons of God are woke and they never break, they say they made it, but the people at the bottom made. Now we say that our God is great. The sons of God are woke and they.
We the most hated in all the lands because we know the truth. On the corners pulling scriptures, but that's not all we gon' do. We don't lie, we don't steal. Serve most high with our zeal. We gon' grind, ain't no chill. Serve most high with our zeal.
These boys don't know what's finna happen. Them boys about to break this up right now. Break this up right now.
Good afternoon. This is South Florida Park Security. How may I help you today?
Yeah, hello. I see a bunch of blacks and Hispanics. They getting ready to fight. Look like it's about to be a riot. I think I see some guns too.
Oh, this is unfortunate. Where are you located, sir?
Yeah, I'm pulling up to the park right now.
Well, how do you know that they're about to fight?
Shout out to the haters. Israel, yeah, we made it. Call them out, make them fake it. Call them out, make them fake it. Vocab, we smell your bacon. You sisters, we see you waiting. Wicked brothers, we hear you stating. The prophets, we standing patient. On Messiah to render judgment. The Israelites gonna love it. The prophecies you do not fit. The king said you will not sit. Black Messiah, yeah, we rich. Black Messiah, yeah, we rich. Making them mad with the truth. Southern poverty, law is sick. James Esau, now you quiet. Cause you see that we ain't lying. We the people of the book. Spiritual Israel be silent. Your pastor left you on the island. Don't know the truth, now you was crying. Join the prophets, yeah, we got you. Join the prophets, yeah, we got you.
We the most hated in all the lands because we know the truth. On the corners pulling scriptures, but that's not all we gon' do. We don't lie, we don't steal. Serve most high with our zeal. We gon' grind, ain't no chill. Serve most high with our zeal.
Hey, shout out to all you heretics out there, man. Same old spiggers. Yeah, one time for you heretics. One time for you dumbass. Two times for you brothers that ain't doing. No, you just clickbait. No, this ain't a diss tape or some truth tape on a mixtape. Keep the laws, but you still hate. One time for you heretics. One time. Two times for you brothers that ain't doing. Come on, you just clickbait. No, this ain't a diss tape or some truth tape on a mixtape. Keep the laws, but you still hate.
The Jerogan Experience.
All right, we're back. Our Hidden History Radio, we're back. Hopefully, those of you got your bearings up, you got your minds right. We took some good notes because we're going in today. Give me that video of Joe Rogan on the Olmec heads. He's talking to an archaeologist regarding the Olmec heads. I want to start from the very beginning, and we're going to end at 4. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing due to lack of time, but what I will say is this, is that they're trying to allude to the fact that the Olmec heads link to the features of the Austronesian people. The Austronesian people are the Australian Aborigines, and they have strong Negro features. So he alludes to the fact that they are, based upon DNA, that the natives of this side of the world come from them. No, because and he says prior to that, their features are more so toward African, which is accurate in terms of us coming over here, all right, from Africa and so forth. That's where Israel is. So that's more factual. But of course, you have to take what Esau says with a grain of salt. So we're going to play that video from the beginning, starting at the beginning. We're going to end around 4:35. You can watch the whole thing on your own if y'all want. I'm just letting y'all know what he's going to say later on. So it doesn't appear as if I'm hiding stuff. But all I want really is to, I guess, 4:45, 4:35. Start from the beginning. All right? This is an archaeologist that's doing excavations and digging on the Olmec heads. He dropped some pretty good research. Watch this.
The Jerogan Experience.
Do you have anything in this book about the Olmecs?
No, not really. I mentioned them briefly. I explored the Olmec mystery in considerable depth.
Could you explain that to people that maybe
in Fingerprints of the Gods? Yes. So it's considered to be the earliest high culture of Central America. Everybody's heard about the Aztecs. Everybody's heard about the Maya. But before the Aztecs and before the Maya, there were a culture who are referred to as the Olmecs. Again, we don't know what they called themselves. That's what the Aztecs called them. They called them the Olmecs, and it means the rubber people because that rubber-producing area of Mexico. They worked in giant megalithic constructions. What they're most famous for is these huge carved human heads, which can be on a scale of up to 20 to 25 tons in weight, and which have curious features which have been interpreted variously as Polynesian, African, don't look like classic Native American features.
Keep that up.
But one of the things I've realized is that there is no classic.
Pause. He said classic Native American. Classic means highly publicized features. The media tends to focus on the somewhat Asian-looking Native Americans. They don't really show you the Negro-looking ones. So he's saying classic. The ones that the media or the so-called white man shows us all the time, flashes to us, is the Asian-looking natives, so-called Mongoloid-looking natives. They're also referred to as the classic ones. You also had Negroid ones that they don't emphasize on much to keep that division between us. Okay? Continue. Watch what he says.
American feature. That Native Americans are have a very complex genetic story with very many different elements brought into it, and we shouldn't be necessarily surprised by the supposedly non-Native American look.
So he's telling you that the Native Americans had various features, various physical different elements among them. as I brought out to y'all last night in the Sabbath. So if you didn't watch the class last night, I suggest you do, 'cause I'm not going over it again. But last night, I made mention of various sources that state that despite all of them having different physiognomies, I believe that's the term, physiognomies, or different features, they all share those same differences all throughout the Americas. So the explorers knew, well, these guys are different everywhere. They all come from the same, they all have the same origin. They're all racially linked to one father and mother, despite their physical feature disparities. They are all the same. He's saying the same exact thing. So he's saying it's not surprising to see these Olmec heads having these Negro features as ancient natives, because they have those features too. It's just not shown as much. The classical Native American features is what the world usually sees, the so-called Mongoloid-looking faces. But you have, as I shown earlier, they had Negro in their countenances, okay, and some, and most actually. Go ahead, continue.
Incredible. What do we think those helmets were that they were wearing?
Nobody knows.
Pause.
Because
we're going to find out what those helmets were. Those helmets were crowns. They're crowns. That's what they were. Crowns. These are their leaders. Okay, go ahead.
Physical example of such a helmet has ever been found, just like no physical example of an Egyptian pharaoh's crown has ever been found. All we see is the stone reproductions of them.
Do they universally wear these helmets in these stone reproductions?
They pretty much all wear these helmets in the Olmec stonework. There's another fascinating figure from La Venta, one of the Olmec sites, which is the earliest ever image of a plumed or feathered serpent.
Stop.
The feathered.
So it's a sculpture of a plumed or feathered serpent. That plumed or feathered serpent is talking about Christ. Okay, that's referring to the Messiah. That's who it's referring to. That's its symbol on this side of the world. I'm going to deal with that later on. But go ahead, continue. He's going to say it.
And there's a famous icon in Central America, Quetzalcoatl, who's the god of peace, the bringer of civilization.
Pause. Damn. The god of peace, the bringer of civilization, Quetzalcoatl. That is the Messiah. And you had Native Americans named after him, chiefs named after him also. And disciples also named after him as well. Quetzalcoatl, that's the Messiah. All right? The king of peace, bringer of peace and civilization. All right? But that's later on. Go ahead.
Who is associated, for example, with the famous pyramid of Kukulkan, which is just another name for Quetzalcoatl at Chichen Itza.
That's the same pyramid you see in the movie Apocalypto, where they were cutting heart size. It started getting stupid. All right? It's called the Kukulkan, or Quetzalcoatl. That's his name. He had various names, but it's still alluding to the Messiah. But over time, the Messiah's worship became corrupt, and they started worshiping other gods in that name. All right? Continue.
Where on the spring equinox, a shadow effect creates the image of a serpent coiling down the stairway and joining with the carved head of the serpent. There's the image from La Venta. That's the earliest image of a plumed serpent in the Americas. And sitting in the middle of it, and I made a big deal out of this because I think it is a big deal in Magicians of the Gods, sitting in the middle of it is this human figure who's holding this strange bag in his hand. And it's just a fact that those identical bags are found in ancient Sumer in the hands of individuals who were considered to be civilization bringers.
Pause. Ancient Sumer is Babylon. Ancient Sumer is Babylon, so they brought those customs over here as well. However, you see he's wearing that crown on his head. He's wearing it. The same crown you see on his head right there. He's got the bag in his hand. Go ahead. Continue.
They also show up on Pillar 43 at Göbekli Tepe. I call them man bags. And in that case, at Göbekli Tepe, we know they're at least 11,600 years old. So I wonder if we're looking at a sort of badge of office of a group of civilizers who traveled around the world trying to bring back to life a lost.
When I interrupted you to talk about Quetzalcoatl, what were you about to say?
I can't remember. Oh. I'm in California. I've been smoking lots of dope, you know.
We were talking about different things in the Amazon. Should we rewind and figure out what we said?
Yeah, the serpent god you were talking about.
Before Quetzalcoatl, before that. I have another question. The Olmecs, you were talking about the genetics of these people that live in Native Americans, that they vary widely. But the Olmecs seem to have very similar...
Stop. See, Native Americans, they varied widely. They varied widely in what? In features. They varied widely. Why? Because, remember, we came over here on our own, on our natural features. Then some of us came over here during the Persian captivity, the Persian liberation. We mingled with Japheth. We mingled with the Persians. We mingled with a bunch of people prior to coming over here the second time. So that group, that batch of Northern Kingdom came over here, mingled up. But the original inhabitants during Solomon's time, we were good. Now, we mixed also during Solomon's time and David's time. That mixing was going on, but not as much as it did. Remember, we're talking about 400 years later. We're talking years later after Solomon. Years later. Persian captivity from Solomon is a long time. Okay? So when they came here the second time, during that Persian liberation that they received from Babylon, and arrived over here, their features was varied. And then that mingling took place over here. So there's a whole wide range of features going on this side of the world. That's what he's going to say. Watch. Go ahead.
There's the thick lips, the wide noses. Why do we think that is?
Well, this is part of a curious mystery that is not unconnected to the genetic mystery. It's been known by archaeologists for quite a long time that there are anomalous skulls in parts of Brazil, which appear to show very strongly Polynesian or African features.
Pause.
Very much.
So the same heads you see over there is in Brazil also. Why? Because it's the same people. The same heads you see over there, where was that at? And where he said La Venta, you find over in Brazil. It's the same, it's the same, he said Polynesian or African. Either or. It's still Negro. It's Negro features. But they found them same type of features or heads in Brazil as well, because it's the same people. Brazil will be the Incas. All right, continue.
The features that we see on the Olmec heads. And a number of archaeologists who got into trouble with their colleagues for this have used that to argue many years ago, 30, 40 years ago, that the settlement story of the Americas is much more complicated than we've realized. And what the DNA is doing is it's telling us that there was something really weird.
So continue. Keep going.
Happened with settlement. You see what happened with those African or Polynesian-looking skulls was that they were tested for DNA when DNA technology was not as advanced.
Pause. So he's saying the first time they tested the skulls they found buried, they linked more to Africa. Now he's going to say, well, then now with our modern technology, it links more towards the Polynesian people, more towards the Australian Aborigines. But that's Japheth. We mingle with them too, so it will make no difference. You understand? And Israel was over there also, so again, it makes no difference. The bottom line is that these features are Negro features. These people are children of Israel. I brought that out earlier. These are the children of Israel. All right? So now, that's all I want. Give me the images real quick of this Aztec couple of Maximo and I forgot her name. I think they want the third one I sent you. The third one, it shows the bottom. It shows the caption at the bottom. Well, I'll take them all. Okay, blow it up. These are Aztecs. Blow it up. Bigger. You're making it smaller. If we can download it maybe and blow it up some so we can all see it, what it says in the bottom. If y'all can. I'm going to show y'all this Aztec couple, okay? I saw this a long time ago. I came across this picture. I was like, wow, look at and I was fascinated by their hair that they have. They got a huge nose. They have huge noses, and they're very dark, okay? Okay, so this history is very, very, very important that y'all, definitely take notes and, like Captain was saying, screenshot the images, share it. That's good. Now let's bring it down some. Okay, that's them there. See their hair? Got the afro, him and his wife. Those are Aztecs. All right? They got the big, They got straight froze, straight afro. Look at her hair, look at her hair, look at this hair. Same texture, big afros. Huge. All right, bring it down some. And some of them have fine hair, fine black coal hair. Now go down, it says 19th century Aztec couple. Original caption, 19th century, it's 1800s. A Mexican tribe now practically extinct. No, they're not, because now they're called Mexicans. Okay? Aztec couple. A Mexican tribe now practically because they're not fully extinct, because they're the Aztecs, they're Aztec. So now, let's get the magazine image I want, page 326. You know what I'm talking about, Jess? All right, it's page 326.
Did you send it?
Yep.
If they don't have it, sorry.
I hope I sent it.
I don't remember seeing it.
Maybe I didn't. Let me make sure. Yo, Jess, Joe Cap, say something, man. I gotta find that thing.
Oh, shoot.
I didn't. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
You have it?
Yes, sir.
Send it to them? Yeah, Cap, you gotta say something, bro. I gotta.
Yeah, man. So, it's good history. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so, Jess, say something.
Touch on Deacon, man. Touch on Texas.
Yeah, I told you. When it comes to this, listen. When it comes to this history, this history has been untouched. Nobody's bringing this out the way the Deacon's bringing it out. In terms of fine details, a lot of, like I said, even they're saying the Aztecs disappeared. No, the Aztecs never disappeared. The name disappeared. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
They just changed the name. The people's still there. How do you say a whole race of people just disappeared? Genocide. No, they just change. What Esau does, they'll say, yeah, this race disappeared. They're gone. No, what Esau does, they just change the names. That's it. What the issue is, we don't read. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can see the brother's nose. Bring the nose up again. This is how you know those. If you look at a lot of Israelites, they got that same broad, long nose as today. So just the only difference is they mingle. This time they mingle in with the Spaniards. You got the picture? Oh no, you're doing something right now. So yeah, so the difference is they mingle with the Spaniards. Yeah, look at the nose, bro. Let's pull up pictures of Mexicans today. I remember working at a pizzeria and he had the same nose. Hey, make sure you guys find that magazine quickly.
I got it. I got it. I found it. I found it. You want to put a picture of Mexican?
Yeah, just pull up the picture of the Mexican.
Oh man.
Cap, like, please save me.
Nah, that's not the nose I'm looking for. There's a specific nose I saw in the
specific
pizzeria.
nose?
Yeah, it's the same Mexican nose. Just put up Mexican nose.
Wow.
Put up Mexican nose on Google.
I don't know how to feel about that one. That sounds horribly racist. Well, it's our brother, so it can't be racist, but damn.
Yeah.
Pull up a Mexican nose.
Yeah.
A Mexican nose.
Pull up that big schnozzle.
Oh, man. Got a derogatory going on right now.
Listen, this is me.
Derogatives.
Come on, let me get that thing.
Think you found it?
Yeah, I sent it already. I sent it to them.
Got it?
Yeah, I sent it.
I want that long nose right there.
It's not long. It's wide. It's the wideness.
I want that wide.
Snozzle.
Snozzle.
You comparing their nose to Amalek. Damn.
Amalek's not even
the alkaline. That's what he.
Broad nose.
Come on, give me their nose. That's all I want. It's gonna pop up.
Damn.
It's just gonna come out, Cap.
Yeah.
And that picture I showed, I mentioned that book that I showed, 1818. That was the features of the Native Americans in California. They said they have Negro in their countenance. That was the natives in California they were referring to. I forgot to mention that. All right. Negroes in California.
No, nothing.
It's all right.
All right,
It's all
maybe
right.
one day I'll take a picture myself.
Yeah,
Hey.
Cap is horrible. It's all right. The Lord didn't want that to come out at all. I was just horrible.
I'll tell Iskar, yo, just pause for a moment. I'm gonna take a picture.
Officer Don.
Yeah,
damn.
Officer, bring that nose over here.
Damn. Oh man. Give me that
Yeah, I got
image.
the pic, man.
The image of that
That's it.
Are we reading this?
Yeah, we are gonna read the part that's
Take a zoom out some. All right.
in this magazine. You ain't getting this magazine. So you know about the name of it all you want. It's you're not getting that. If you do get it, all praises. If you don't, it is what it is.
This was it was a black magazine out during the '60s. All right. So in this magazine, they was putting history and so forth in this magazine, this black magazine that we had out during the '60s. So it's very, very hard to find.
Right. Trying to find. I sent y'all something else
I'll look
too.
for it. I'll find it somehow.
I sent y'all. I'm trying to find it off. Hold on. Hold on. Before I read that, hold on. Let me send this one more thing.
Matter of fact, the year of this magazine is 1962. So this is the early '60s right here.
Okay. Where the hell did I put that image at? Hold on a second. Thing just vanished from my phone. What the hell is this? Okay, let's read that. While I look for this image. That
Okay.
vanished from my phone miraculously.
American Indian legends. Accounts of black men who came to them from far-off lands. Aside from the report that Columbus obtained at Hispaniola, a notable tale is recorded in the Peruvian traditions. They inform us of how black men coming from the east had been able to penetrate the Andes Mountains. Furthermore, Indian traditions of Mexico...
Andes Mountains is, I believe, is South or Central America. That's the Andes Mountains. It stretches out. It's very vast. Those mountains stretch from I believe, the Central to South America. Andes Mountains. Go ahead, read it again. I'm sorry. I want to read along with you. Go ahead.
They inform us of how black men coming from the east...
What men?
Black men coming from the east...
Black men, like the Quinams, Olmec heads, coming from the east. Read that numerous times today. Coming from the east. Coming from the east. Coming from the east. Go ahead.
Had been able to penetrate the Andes Mountains. Furthermore, Indian traditions of Mexico and Central America indicate that Negroes were among the first occupants of that territory.
Negroes are the first. Go ahead.
Some Indians there yet claim descent from these same blacks.
They claim descent from these same blacks. Go ahead.
A contemporary anthropologist.
Anthropologist. Go ahead. I mean, the guy that studies races, nations. Go ahead.
Has convincingly demonstrated that several Indian tribes in this area had developed out of early Negro stocks.
Out of what?
Early Negro stocks.
They came out of early Negro stocks. Negro stocks. Go ahead.
These would
include who?
Include the Otomis of Mexico.
Remember that name? The Otomis, Olmecs, Quinams, the Otomis of Mexico. Go ahead.
The Charcoals of Haiti.
Charcoals of Haiti.
The Arguellos of Scritara. The Aravos of Orinoco. The Prosigis and Matayas of Brazil. The Quanas of Darien. And the Albinos of Panama.
Watch this.
At this juncture, it must be pointed out that the localities of these Negroid Indians...
Of these what?
Negroid Indians.
Negroid Indians, the ones they don't show us on TV. The ones you Israelites keep attacking. Oh, they're not our people, they're Mongoloids. Their family members came from Negro stocks. It's all the same people. Go ahead.
Correspond to the last detail with the areas where early African settlements were found.
Negroes are found. Go ahead.
Of the descendants of Pre-Columbian Negroes...
Of Pre-Columbian, Pre-Incan Negroes. Go ahead.
Were either destroyed by the onslaught of the Spanish conquest...
So they were either destroyed by slaughter of the conquest of Spaniards or what?
Or eventually absorbed into the slave system.
See, them Negro Native Americans were sold as slaves and were reclassified as Negroes. See that? See, I keep playing around. They're not our people. Those are heathens. You guys are retarded. That's why we don't take y'all seriously.
That's why the Lord did not choose you.
You all your women. We don't listen to y'all because y'all are dummies.
Black people.
Black people. We don't continue.
We don't listen to black people anymore.
We do not listen to y'all because y'all are idiots. Next one.
We wake up and say we're not listening to you
right.
today.
That's our alarm clock. Don't listen to niggas. Don't listen to niggas. Don't listen to niggas. That's how my alarm clock goes off. Don't listen to niggas. Go ahead.
I brushed my teeth with that.
Right.
American Indian legends. American Indian
No,
legend.
an examination of ancient.
Sorry. Can you point to where? Okay. An examination of ancient Indian religions yields additional information on the condition of early Africans in America.
Early blacks in the Americas, ancient Native Americans. Go ahead.
Several Indian nations.
Watch this.
Such as the Mayans.
Aztecs.
And Incas.
Worshipped what?
Worshipped black gods.
Because just like they worship gods that look like them. Black gods. Go ahead.
Damn. Along with their other deities. And the Mayan religion particularly exemplifies the high esteem in which the Negroes were held.
They held Negro features in high esteem because their gods had Negro features. Ooh. Their gods had Negro features. Continue.
Among the black deities.
Among these black deities, what's his name?
Quetzalcoatl.
Oh. Quetzalcoatl is his name.
Quetzalcoatl.
Go ahead.
The serpent god.
And
Messiah.
The feathered plume serpent God mentioned earlier. Black Messiah God. Quetzalcoatl. Go ahead.
And Akuha.
Go ahead.
The traitor god
and war captain. Same name, same guy. Go ahead.
Are the most revealing. Their surviving portraits show them black and woolly hair. You done, Esau. You
Black
done.
and woolly hair.
You done.
Black and woolly hair.
All praises.
Go ahead.
To have been unmistakably Negro.
Unmistakably. That guy dropped the bombs. I ain't dropping no bombs over there. Unmistakably Negro. Unmistakably. There's no, perhaps a Negro cast. That's denied. This is straight Negro here. We can't deny this. Go ahead. So Quetzalcoatl was a black god with woolly hair. Go ahead.
It is important to note here that serpent worship in the same form can still be found today in a Mandingo land.
Mandingo land. That would be the Mali, right?
Yes, sir.
West Africa.
Mandingos
worship the same God because they're the same people on the other side of the world. That's why. Go ahead.
That Akahua was worshipped as a traitor and warrior needs little elaboration since early Africans came to America.
Israelites came to America. Go ahead.
Principally for trade.
For what?
For trade.
Trade. Like Solomon. Go ahead.
And on occasions had to fight for survival.
Fighting each other. Go ahead.
Negroes and sculpture. Not only were African Negroes held in reverence by the Indians of antiquity, but they appear frequently in early American sculpture.
That's all I want. So we don't have the rest. We don't have the rest of the page. That's all I need, really, to be honest. I could have stopped at the first paragraph. That was a bomb itself. Now, let's get a picture I sent you. I sent you pictures of Quetzalcoatl. One officer, Don, sent me. I have to get sources on that one, but there's one that's conclusive. There's images of Quetzalcoatl with holes in his hands. He has holes in his hands. A statue of him like this, and he has holes in both his palms. I wonder why that is. A lot of the Quetzalcoatl images are depicted with him having holes in his hands and in his feet. Why is that? Doesn't that sound familiar? A Messiah God with holes in his hands and in his feet?
Right.
Interesting that they would have knowledge of that on this side of the world. Look at this guy here. It's Quetzalcoatl there. Blow it up some. Now, if you look right here, that's his other name. If it's hot something, his other name. Same thing. See, he's crucified there. There's a cross there. His hands are tied. Look what's going into his side. A spear going into his side. And he's brown like them. Okay? There's a spear going into his side. They pierced him. Go down. And he's tied to the pole. He's being crucified there. There's blood coming down, I believe. There's blood coming down as they pierced him. All right? Go to the next image of Quetzalcoatl. I sent you another one. Him on the cross. There's him on the cross again. Watch how he looks. This next image of Quetzalcoatl. All right? Okakulkan, same name. Some worshipped him righteously, some wickedly. Hell, I even give you a gold. Some of them were taught by him too. I'll give you that. That's Quetzalcoatl there with a big white beard and black skin on the cross. See, his beard is white and the skin is black, that's him also on a cross. Okay? That's Quetzalcoatl there as well. You know nothing white about that at all. Aside from his beard. No, I'm not doing it. I'm just throwing out there.
Okay.
I'm just throwing out there. No, him coming here, not them. Him coming here. No, I'm doing that. No, I'm not doing that. So go to page 110. Mess around, people lose their mind. You know.
Yeah, that is true.
Go to page 110. Give it to them, slow. Page 110. We're going to start at page 110. We're going to go about the time, and we're going to end on page 111, scriptural one. So from page 110, about the time. It's the second paragraph, right there, about the time. Let me see something.
Want me read?
Hold on. Yeah, I want you to start from but Father Duran. Start from there. Whoever wants to read. But Father Duran.
But Father Duran says that all the males were destroyed by the Tlaxcaltecas.
Right. There was a civil war going on regarding these natives. Go ahead.
During a great banquet prepared for the purpose in 107 AD.
So there was a war and they killed the leaders of this particular nation. There was beef going on. Watch this.
As some regard the Olmecs an offshoot of the Mayas.
Stop. Some regard the Olmecs as what?
An offshoot of the Mayas. It may be that we have here a figurative allusion from a Nahua standpoint to the fall of the Xibalban power itself. The New World Babylon, which like the old may have met its fate during a drunken revel.
They're saying that the Olmecs and Mayas are tied together. They come from each other. The Olmecs come out of the Mayans come from the Olmecs, all right, or vice versa. They're saying, and what ended up happening was there was a war. That there was a particular nation that was ruling over the others that was evil, and they fell. They were conquered. That's all it's saying regarding them being Babylon. Jump down to verse about the time.
About the time that the Quinamis were destroyed, the pyramid of Cholula was built.
So when the Quinamis were conquered or overthrown, the pyramid of Cholula was built. Go ahead.
Under the direction of a chief called Xelohua.
Cholula, uh-huh.
Its origin is said to have been connected in some way with a flood. But authorities are not agreed as to whether it was built as a memorial in honor of the builder's salvation.
Go ahead. It's a noise.
What is that?
Go ahead.
From a former flood, or as a place of refuge from another that might come.
Right. So they built this huge pyramid called the Pyramid of Cholula to avoid a flood. Continue.
Bottarini and most Spanish writers.
Hold on, we're gonna stop at scriptural one. Hearing more of that noise. Scriptural one. Go ahead. It's like someone's phone or something. Come on.
I can't read anything.
What happened to the page?
Oh God. Philly, you're killing me, man. You guys are killing me. Come on.
All right. From a former flood, or as a place of refuge from another that might come.
Go ahead.
Bottarini and most Spanish writers connected with the Tower of Babel.
So they're saying that the natives on this side of the world built a pyramid of Cholula in reference to the Tower of Babel, okay? To avoid a flood, like Nimrod did. Doing it again. Go ahead.
Claiming that the ancestors of the Olmecs were present on the occasion.
That the Olmecs were responsible for the construction of the pyramid of Cholula. Go ahead.
They also say that work on the Cholula Tower was stopped by fire sent from heaven.
And they say that the pyramid that was built to avoid a flood, that fire was sent out from heaven, and stop this construction. Go ahead.
It is true that the Toltecs had a deluge, the tradition of a general and devastating flood, possibly the scriptural one.
History on the flood. Now, so the Toltecs had knowledge of the flood on this side of the world, because they have records of the scriptures on this side of the world also. Go to Father Duran. Jump down to Father Duran. Jump Down to Father Duran.
Father Duran, however, gives a different and to us more reasonable cause for the building of the Cholula pyramid.
So he gives a different reason behind why the pyramid was built. Watch this.
For we have never been able to see why the natives would build a tower to escape a possible flood on the very foothills of snow-capped mountains, which kiss the firmament.
Which are high. So he said, I can't figure out why would they build a pyramid to avoid a flood when they have mountains that are snow-capped that they can run to those mountains instead to avoid a flood. What's the purpose of them building this tower for, this pyramid for? Go ahead.
Father Duran, who wrote soon after the Spanish conquest, says that he found at Cholula a native 100 years
So
old.
he found a Native American man that was 100 years old that spoke to him, an ancient, an elder. Go ahead.
Bent with age.
Bent over with age. Oh, go ahead.
But well
informed.
Informed as to its history.
Well informed as to why it was built. The pyramid of Cholula was built. It was massive. It's a massive structure even to this day. Go ahead.
From him, Duran took down the following story.
Watch what he says. The old man's going to give him a history of why it was built. Watch this.
Next.
112. Just blow it up. Move it over to the left. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. 113. Right in the beginning. Come on.
In the beginning, before the light of the sun had been created, this land was in obscurity and darkness, and void of any created thing. All was a plain without hill or elevation, encircled in every part by water.
So the old man started off saying, in the beginning. Go ahead.
Without tree or created thing. And immediately after the light and the sun arose in the east, there appeared gigantic men of deformed stature and possessed the land, who, desiring to see the nativity of the sun as well as the Occident, proposed to go and seek them. Dividing themselves into two parties, some journeyed toward the west and others toward the east. These traveled until the sea cut off their road, whereupon they determined to return to the place from which they started. And arriving at this place, which was called Iztaculan, Inaminium Chochola, not finding the means of reaching the sun, enamored of his light and beauty, they determined to build a tower so high that its summit should reach the sky. Having collected material for the purpose, they found a very adhesive clay and bitumen, with which they speedily commenced to build the tower, and having reared it to the greatest possible altitude, so that they say it, come on, it reached to the sky. The Lord of the heavens enraged.
The Lord of the heavens enraged at these people. These tall men decided to build this tower to reach the sun, to reach the sky. And it says the Lord of the heavens was enraged by them doing this. Go ahead.
Said to the inhabitants of the sky.
Said to the inhabitants of the sky. Go ahead.
Have you observed how they of the earth have built a high and holy tower to the mount hither?
To mount up here? Go ahead. Being enamored
of the light of the sun and his beauty. Come and confound them.
Come and do what?
Come and confound them.
Go ahead.
Because it is not right that they of the earth, living in the flesh, should mingle with us. Immediately at that very instant,
watch this.
The inhabitants of the sky sallied forth like flashes of lightning.
So what are those? Angels. What's the old man referring to? The Tower of Babel, how it was taken down.
Wow.
The old man said the Tower of Babel was built. The angels came down and destroyed it like flashes of lightning. So the old man's telling him why they built the pyramid on this. They built the pyramid on this side of the world, symbolizing the conquering of Nimrod's conquest. Nimrod's building on the other side of the world. That's what he's saying. He's going back to why they built the pyramid of Cholula, representing the Tower of Babel. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
They destroyed the edifice and divided its builders.
Divided and scattered its builders. Go ahead.
To all parts of the earth.
Right. That's the Tower of Babel, confounding of languages. Go ahead. Here
then, in this most ancient of records, we find no reference whatever to a flood, but rather a confirmation of the supposed tendency of Americans all over the continent, including those of the Mississippi Valley.
Of North America, go ahead.
Perhaps to erect mounds and truncated pyramids for the purpose of worshiping the sun.
See that? So they built it in honor of, they built it the same way Nimrod built his tower. But he explained why they built it for the same reason he built his. Because we start getting simple. Go ahead.
That these mounds were regarded as sacred. It's that these mounds were regarded as sacred is further proven by the fact that the construction of a railway across the corner of the pyramid under consideration, the workmen found an ancient sepulchre and took out two petrified human skeletons.
So these pyramids had bodies in them. They buried people in the pyramids, like we did back in ancient time, like the Maccabees did. Go ahead.
Similar proofs have been discovered at Tutankhamun.
Go ahead. Go on. Sure, won't you get on? So the old man gave him the history of the Tower of Babel. Tutankhamun. Give me on Britannica, pre-Columbian civilizations.
Deacon, I have a diagram that shows the inside of those pyramids.
You inside? All right.
If you wanted them.
You can send that to them. I want on Britannica, just type that in. Britannica pre-Columbian civilizations. Pre-Columbian civilizations. Forgot why I want that. I didn't even write it down. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, I want pre-Columbian civilizations. What I said at the end there, I said, I guess read to the, let me see, I want to read to the end. Hold on. I forgot why I even wanted this. Hold on a second. Let me see.
So, what we're doing, like I said, we're further proving those on this side of the world is ancient connections to the old world. If they're of Asia, how would they have records of this history? Showing that a lot of things that Northern Kingdom did on this side of the world was a replication of what they did on the east side of the world. In terms of the pyramids, in terms of the Tower of Babel, further shows evidence. Like you said, you have evidence of even with the very pyramids that the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas built were the same dimensions that was built of ancient Egypt. They brought with them the same knowledge that they brought from the Near East.
Mm-hmm.
So it's undoubtedly, without question, that our people are the descendants, and for our people to argue that is because of a lack of information. And not only that, just ignorance, that hatred. The scripture says that Judah should not envy, or Judah should not, let me get that, Isaiah 11, while we're waiting for that.
I have it. Yeah.
Oh, you have it in your
it,
books? Oh,
yeah,
no. Okay, don't worry about it. No, you bring it out.
Get pre-Columbian. We can bring it out. Bring it out. Get our pre-Columbian civilizations. We're going to read through it fast. We're going to read through it fast.
Okay. Pre-Columbian civilizations. The Aboriginal American Indian cultures that evolved in the Mesoamerican part of Mexico and Central America and Andean region, Western South America, prior to the Spanish exploration and the conquest in the 16th century.
1500s, go ahead.
The pre-Columbian civilizations were extraordinary developments in human society and culture, ranking with the early civilizations of Egypt, Mesopotamia, and China.
Of Egypt, Babylon, and China, go ahead.
Like the ancient civilizations of the Old World.
Of the Old World, go ahead.
Those in the New World were characterized by kingdoms and empires, great monuments and cities.
Like Cholula, go ahead.
And refinements in the arts. Metallurgy and writings, the ancient civilizations of the Americas also display in the history similar cyclical patterns of growth and decline, unity and disunity.
Unity and disunity, meaning them arguing, infighting, civil wars. Continue.
In the New World, the roots of civilization lay in a native agricultural way of life.
Wait. Go back to related topics. It's related topics. Go back up to the list real quick. What it gives you? Related topics. Go down. Oh, don't have it. Okay, keep going. I don't have it.
In the New World, the roots of civilization lay in a native agricultural way of life. These agricultural beginnings go back several millennia to perhaps about 7,000 BCE.
Now, that's all I want to deal with. Be mindful of dates. This man, he still deals with evolution. He deals with the earth being billions of years old. It is not. Okay, Israel came over here. We're talking about 1500s, 1000s. We're talking about that time. Around Solomon's time was when we arrived over here. No earlier than that. All right? We arrived here during Solomon's explorations. That thousands, 40,000 stuff, 50,000, get out your brain. That's nonsense. pure nonsense. Carbon dating is garbage. Do not believe in carbon dating. It is nonsense. All right? There's no evidence of it. None. It's fool. It's complete conjecture. It's complete scientific guesswork. Go ahead. These agricultural beginnings go back to several millennia. Go ahead.
These agricultural beginnings goes back several millennia to perhaps about 7,000 BCE in the first experimentations by the early Americans with plant cultivation.
Jump down to sedentary.
Sedentary village farming in Mesoamerica came into being by about 1500 BCE.
Yeah, we can deal with that date. Go ahead, 1500 BC, 1000, that's fine. You can give them that. We had that before. Go ahead.
Corn, beans, squashes, chili peppers, and cotton were the most important crops. These early villagers wove cloth and made pottery and practiced other typical Neolithic skills. It appears that...
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
It appears that such villages were economically self-contained and politically autonomous.
So they were economically self-contained and politically autonomous, meaning these guys were not savage. They were structured and organized. Go ahead.
With an egalitarian social order. But rather quickly after this, between about 1200 and 900 BCE, the building of large earthen pyramids and platforms and the carving of monumental stone sculptures signals significant changes in these heretofore simple social and political order. These changes first appear in the southern Gulf Coast region of what is now Mexico. And the sculptures rendered in a style now called Olmec.
Now called what?
Olmec.
Olmec, go ahead.
Are presumed to depict chiefs or rulers.
That's what the heads are. The heads are the chiefs and rulers. Go ahead.
From these and other archaeological indications, it has been inferred that a class structured and politically centralized society developed.
A class structured and politically centralized society developed. They were not savage or stupid. They were wise. Go ahead.
There appear subsequently other large capital towns and cities and neighboring regions that also display a similar Olmec art style.
Because Olmec came first and everyone borrowed from the Olmecs. It's all the same people. Go ahead.
This Olmec horizon, cultural diffusion that is contemporaneous at widely scattered sites represents the first climax or era of unification in history of Mesoamerican civilization.
Going down after about 500, go down.
After about 500 BCE, the Olmec unification gave way to an era consistent of late formative and classical periods of separate regional styles and kingdoms. These lasted until 700 to 900 CE. Among these are the well-known Maya, Zapotec, Teutonic.
Read them earlier. Teutonic, Zapotec, those families. Go ahead.
And Teotihuacan civilizations.
Teotihuacan, read that in that book also. Civilizations. Go ahead.
While sharing a common Olmec heritage.
What do they share?
A common Olmec heritage.
So the well-known Maya, Zapotec, Teotihuacan, and Teotihuacan civilizations, while sharing a common Olmec heritage, go ahead.
They also display many differences.
Go ahead.
For example, the Maya excelled in intellectual pursuits of hieroglyphic writings, calendar making, mathematics, while the Teotihuacan civilization placed its emphasis on political and commercial power.
So these all derive from Olmecs. Okay, the Zapotecs, the Teotihuacans, Maya, they derive from the Olmecs. The Olmecs came first. The Mayan calendar, in reality, is actually the Olmec calendar. They borrowed it because that's their forefathers. They just took it. So it became the Mayan calendar, but initially it was the Olmec calendar. And the Mayans just took it because that's who the Mayans are. They come from the Olmecs. Go ahead, Atomies, but remember earlier in that book, those are negroes. Okay? Negroes, it's in that book, it said they found the skulls. They were Negro Quinams, Negro Atomies of Mexico. Olmecs is all the same people, same families. Go ahead.
Teotihuacan and the Valley of Mexico was an urban center of some 150,000 people, and the influence of its civilization eventually radiated over much of Mesoamerica. As such, Teotihuacan constituted a second grand civilizational climax or unification, 400 to 600 CE. Teotihuacan power waned after about 600, and a time of troubles ensued, during which a number of states and nascent empires competed for supremacy.
See, they're fighting amongst ourselves. Go ahead.
Among these competitors were the Toltecs of Tula.
The Toltecs of Tula, go ahead.
In central Mexico.
Go ahead.
Who held sway from perhaps 900 to 1200, the early post-classic
period.
period.
Go ahead.
After the decline in the late post-classic period, another interregnum of warring states lasted until 1428, when the Aztec defeated the rival city of Azcapotzalco and
Oh gosh, go ahead. That was oh man, go ahead. Wow.
Tomato, Deacon.
Yeah, okay.
It's an interpretation.
Yeah.
And emerged as the dominant force in central Mexico.
See, that's there was constant wars and infightings and so forth among the kingdoms. Go ahead. This last
native Mesoamerican.
So the Aztecs pretty much were the last kingdom standing. The Mayans fell eventually, Incas fell eventually, and what happened now? Watch this.
This last native Mesoamerican empire was conquered by Hernan Cortes, or Cortes, and the Spaniards in 1521.
That's all I want. I think that's all I want. So the Mayans, the Olmecs, the Toltecs, all these people, all the same people, all the same.
And Deacon, there's no difference during the time.
Mesoamerican civilizations. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's no difference from the time of the kings. Northern kings always warred amongst each other internally.
Always.
That's why, sorry, Northern kings, but there's no good kings.
Yep.
That's why Judah must reign.
Damn.
That's right. No good kings. You war on the east, now you war on the west.
Right. Yeah.
We ain't gonna get it together.
Damn.
Now you Latin kings, you Nanietas, your MS-13s warring against each other.
Trinitarios,
what the cartels.
Yeah,
same thing.
Craziness. Mm-hmm. Let's get the next book now. Page 200. Page 200. Page 200. It's a big book now. Where's the big book at? I'll read it along with y'all. Page 200. Where do we stop at? We can start at Pedro de los and end at Across the Sea. Pedro de los Rios. We start there, and we're gonna end at Across the Sea. Yep. Start from there.
Hey,
come on.
Philly is no longer Cabal. It's the Library of Philly.
Damn.
That's right.
Library of Philly. Pedro de los Rios. Go on down. You'll see that name pop up. Pedro de los Rios. That's 200.
Put
Page
some
200.
respect on our names.
It is the second big paragraph. That can't be page 200. That's all I have here. I don't know what you're reading from. Page 200. That's what I want.
So the confusion, like I said, a lot of times with the different tribal names, the Olmecs, like it says, the Aztecs, what are the Quinamis?
The Quinamis, Olmecs, Achamis, Toltecs, Teutonics.
It's no different with Gad. There's all the 500 different nations.
Right.
But when you look at scripturally, yes, we're named the 12 tribes of Israel. We all have a patriarch.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at within the scriptures, there was different forefather names, different name classifications. You have Issachar, then it goes to the different lineage of the fathers that had different children. So what happened a lot of times, we'll take the name of the fathers and then we'll classify that as a tribe within a tribe or a name. So throughout history, we look at these various names, different customs. They're the same people, but just going over different names that they claimed.
Right. Self-proclaimed names.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Self-proclaimed bywords, pretty much.
Exactly. That's all it is. It is the same people. And like I said, we're confused with all these. Oh, these were Africans. No, it's not Africans. The Olmecs just came prior to. The Olmecs was what? They were undiluted prior to the migration to the during the Persian and Mede Empire, when the remainder of the northern tribes migrated to what? The Americas. So from then, like I said, and that's why a lot of people argue, like I said, I heard plenty of arguments that, yeah, prior to the natives being on this side of the world, because of the features, that you had Africans on the side of the world. Now, through Deacon revealing the information that the Olmecs having Negroid features, the broad nose, African-like features, were no different from our fathers on the eastern side of the world. These were Negro men. And that's the confusion. Just like the skin tone does not matter. The scripture says we're all shades. That's why in Revelation, just give me that real quick. What you guys going to realize, the Bible says Christ doesn't tell us to distinguish or make a difference when you go out and teach. There's no instructions to us for us to separate. It says the angels will separate.
Right.
They will sift. They will gather. So we have to stop focus on colorism. Now, like I said, the Spirit's going to reveal itself. Because even if you're Israel, if you don't adhere to biblical doctrine or keep the commandments, you're still going to die. 2/3 of our people are going to die. My sheep hear my voice. They hear me and they follow me. So at the end of the day, our job as teachers is not to decide who's who. Because like we went over, Deacon went over yesterday, Deacon Malachi went over as well. There's people that are walking, there's Israelites walking in Edomites covers. Get that, Revelation chapter 7.
The book of Revelation, chapter 7, verse 9.
Yes, start at verse 9.
After this, I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations, and kindreds, and people, and tongues, stood before the throne, and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands.
So, Christians will use this verse to include all nations being taken up in the so-called rapture, or being taken up, saved. So it says, after this I beheld, this is John the Apostle, John the Revelator, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people. All nations, because why? Israel was scattered to all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, different languages, whether we speak Spanish, whether we speak the Tamil language, whether we speak Chinese, Japanese, English, French, British, Dutch, all language, wherever the slave ships were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And prior, wherever we migrated to these various locations, read.
Verse 10, and cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our God.
Salvation to our God. If you know salvation is only for Israel, we're not going to break this scripture down. Those of you that have been watching, attending classes, you should know the breakdown of this already. Go on.
Which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne, and about the elders, and the four beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces, and worshiped God, saying, Amen, blessing, and glory, and wisdom, and thanksgiving, and honor, and power, and might, be unto our God forever and ever.
Be unto our God a possession forever and ever. Read verse 12.
Amen. Verse 13. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, what are these which are arrayed in white robes, and whence came they?
Wait, why is he posing that question? Whence are these? Why is he posing the question?
Where they come from?
And where did they come from? So whence are these people and where did they come from? Why is John making a statement? Now, what I want you guys to look at in the earlier verses, John starts out in Revelation chapter 7, verse 4 and down. They go into the 144,000 being sealed. They go to 12 tribes, 12,000 of each tribe. Started from Judah, going all the way down to the northern kingdom tribes. And then after John went over the 12,000 of each tribe, all the way from Judah down to the northern kingdom tribes, they went to verse 9. It says, all nations and all tongues. John knew who these were. Why would he say, who are these people?
Right.
It's salvation for everybody. No, the reason why he didn't know who these people were, because why? The tribes during his time period that he knew had all Negroid features. They all had Negroid features. So now in the latter days, through mixing, through migration, through slavery, we mixed in among all the heathens. We not only learned their works, we not only took on their idols, but we also took on their features. That's why in the Exodus chapter 9, it says, and to us belongs confusion of faces. You can't tell the difference. You go to these foreign countries, even in Africa, you have some people that look like Hamitic, but they might be Israel. You go to India, you have some people that look Indian, they might be Israel. And henceforth with South America, North America, Central America. So we cannot really say who's who. Our job is to teach.
And that's it. Get page 200 now. You got it?
Come on, brothers. Hurry and pull it up.
Page 200. You're wasting time with all this. I sent you that before.
Come on.
200, 201. Let's go. Come on.
Read verse 14 real quick, Jess, since we...
Yes, sir. Verse 14. And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, these are they which came out of great.
He said, you know who these people are. These are your people. Yep. And they also came out of great tribulation.
And have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb.
So verse 9 shows us that John couldn't differentiate who these people were based upon the differentiation of their features and their languages because of the diaspora and intermingling with the other nations.
Right. You got it now? Start from Pedro de los Rios.
Right here in the center. Right in.
Blow it up.
Enlarge it.
Enlarge it, please. Pedro de los, right there. Let's go.
Pedro de los Rios tells us that the bricks for the construction of the pyramid were manufactured at Talmanalaco and passed by a line of men from hand to hand for a distance of several leagues.
They built this pyramid mastered by hand to hand, and passing it back and forth. Watch this. Read on.
Of course, the Spanish writers have not failed to connect this pyramid in some way with the Hebrew traditions respecting the Tower of Babel.
The Hebrew tradition, see that? Respecting the Tower of Babel, us copying Babel all over again, doing it again. Go ahead.
Especially as work on a Cholula,
Cholula, the pyramid, go ahead.
Tower was stopped by fire, sent from heaven by the irritated deities.
So they're saying that the natives are saying to him, that the tower the pyramid that they built in respect to the Babylonian tower, that fire came down from heaven and destroyed that pyramid also. The same way they went and destroyed down the one in Babylon, it happened again on this side of the world too. That's what the elder was saying. That's why he said, the old man said to Duran, in the beginning, this happened before, and that's why we did it. They did it again. Go ahead, watch this.
During the Olmec period, that is, the earliest period of Nahawa power, the great Quetzalcoatl appeared. We have seen that in the Popol Vuh and Codex Chimalpopoca.
That's another codex of ours, our records. Go ahead.
This being is represented as the half divinity, half hero, who came at the head of first Nahawas.
He came at the head of the first Nuhuas. Go ahead.
To America from across the sea.
So this guy came to talk to them from across the sea. Who could this be? Read on.
Next page.
202. We're going to end at European hands. 201. We're going to end at European hands.
Okay, go down.
Matter of fact, hold on. No, it says during the Olmec period, that is the earliest period of Nuwa power, the great Quetzalcoatl appeared. They're going to stop there. Get the image I sent, the image of page 69 about Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is called Quetzalcoatl image. Quetzalcoatl is a page. It's page 69. It's an image I sent y'all. It's called Quetzalcoatl, page 69. And there's a red line going across on the left-hand side of it. Let's get some more detail on this Quetzalcoatl real quick. Let's get some more detail on him. You got it? Yes, sir. All right, let's get that. Come on. Right there, yep. Page 69. Start from where the red line is at. Quetzalcoatl, right there. Come on.
Quetzalcoatl, they say, is he who created the world.
So Quetzalcoatl is the creator of worlds, the creator of civilizations, the king of the bringer of peace. Saying that the Edomites said. Go ahead.
And they bestowed on him the title of the Lord of the Wind.
They called him Lord of the Wind. Why? Because he can fly. Go ahead.
Because they said that when it seemed good to
Temaquatl, whatever. Go ahead.
Temaquatl, he breathed and begot or produced Quetzalcoatl.
So Tonecatl is the Heavenly Father. It says he breathed and begat or produced Quetzalcoatl. So that's the Father and the Son. Go ahead. He breathed and formed him. Go ahead.
They created round temples to him without any corners.
They built temples to him without any corners. Go ahead.
They said that this was he who was the Lord of the three signs which are here represented, and who formed the first man.
Who formed Adam. Go ahead.
That a Messiah is promised to the Jews, all agree. Therefore, in their prayers, they beseech God that he may come quickly. But who he is, or when he shall come, it's much controverted.
Go ahead.
A very remarkable painting occurs in the Codex Borgian.
Hold on. So another codex. A remarkable painting is found in the Codex Borgian. Watch this.
In which Quetzalcoatl is represented in a sumptuous temple seated on a throne.
So the natives drew Quetzalcoatl sitting in a sumptuous throne. Sitting down on a throne. Watch this.
A sword proceeds out of his mouth.
And a sword is coming out of his mouth. Go ahead.
And an eagle is hastening to prey on the dead bodies slain by them under the throne.
And under his throne is dead bodies.
Who could that
but
be?
eagles are coming to eat. Go ahead.
Above is the symbol of the sun, which hath conceals the body of a lamb.
And above him is the symbol of a lamb and a sun. Wisdom is the sun and the lamb, representing what he is. Go ahead.
Quetzalcoatl is again represented on the same page. And the fact of
In the act of
sacrificing a demon who death seems ready to devour.
Who could that demon be? Who could this demon be he's going to kill? Isaiah 63, Isaiah 34, Edom. That's what it's referring to. Go ahead.
And it says the eagle.
Then it says the eagle. Thank you.
Right,
it says the eagle. Go ahead.
They, the Indians, were descended from the race of Quetzalcoatl.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa. The Indians descend from the race of Quetzalcoatl, that same black god in the other book we read earlier.
Damn.
Go ahead.
I can't read anymore, Deacon. This is, yo, my heart, I can't take this anymore. It's like the amount of information.
Too much.
It's like brain overload, Deacon. Give me a chance to digest this information.
I'll give it to you. Go ahead.
I feel like
Take a breather.
Yeah, I feel like Goku. When I went to Dragon Ball God level right now. I'm ready to go conquer the nations now.
Yo, this is some heavy information.
Nobody talk to us ever again. Don't talk to us anymore.
Ever. Just be quiet and take
Don't
notes.
make a comment. Just say I see yes. That's all you got to say.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The Indians were descended from the race of Quetzalcoatl.
Watch this.
For this reason, they held lineage in great account.
For this reason, they held their lineage in high esteem of these black gods. I'm a descendant of the Messiah. That's our brother. He's our brother too. Go ahead.
And wherever they chanced to be, they said, I am of such a lineage.
Wherever they were at, they would say, Quetzalcoatl, that's my lineage. That's my brother. Wherever they were at, they would just say it. Quetzalcoatl is my lineage. Go ahead.
Before the image of their first founder, whom they call Votan, wood and incense were always burning.
Votan is another god, same thing. We always burned incense to him. Go ahead.
Holding up of roses and flint knives, partly covered with branches of rose trees, denote the commencement of the suffering of Quetzalcoatl.
So they gave honor to what? His suffering for the people. They knew he was going to die for the people. Remember the image I showed you earlier of Quetzalcoatl like this, with the spear going in his side and blood coming out. They knew he died for the nation. They knew. This is before the New Testament. This is before. It was prophesied in the Old Testament that he was going to die for us. They knew this already on this side of the world. Now, get me Revelation 19, verse 15, regarding when it said, a sword proceed out of his mouth, and an eagle is hastening to prey on the dead bodies slain by them under the throne. What's that talking about? Revelation 19, 15 to 17, then you jump to 21.
The book of Revelations, chapter 19, verse 15. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword.
Here we go. Revelation 19 is what they're talking about. Go ahead. These natives drew Revelation 19. Go ahead.
That with it he should smite the nations.
Do what with the sword?
He should smite the nations.
Go ahead.
And he should rule them with a rod of iron.
Go ahead.
And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God.
Go ahead.
And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of lords.
Go ahead.
And I saw an angel standing in the sun.
And he said, go ahead.
And he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven,
all the eagles, go ahead.
Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God.
Go ahead.
Verse 21.
18, where's verse 18?
Verse 18.
That they may do what?
That ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great.
Nations. So those bodies under his throne are the bodies of nations that fought against him. 21 down.
Verse 21. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
Boom. So the natives wrote down, they drew Revelation 19 chapter. They wrote that down. They knew what he was going to do when he got here. They knew.
Damn.
Now let's get what I want.
Can I bring on one scripture?
Yeah, yes you can. I bring this out.
Let me see. John 11:52 real quick. See if that's what I want. Let me see if that's what I want. Yeah, read that.
The book of John, chapter 11, verse 52. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad.
Listen, we tend to think that Christ is only making reference to the Eastern Hemisphere. No. There's other Israelites on the other side of the realm, of the world, in the Western Hemisphere. So when he's talking about to gather together, also the scattered Israelites abroad. What does abroad mean? What does abroad mean?
It means all over the world.
Bring it up. Look, we got to get definition.
Other side, abroad?
Bring it abroad and get me Isaiah 49.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 6.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 49, verse 6. And he said, It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
I also give light unto the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. What does it mean? What does the end of the earth make a reference to? The other side of the world. So Christ did not only give salvation and light to the Gentiles on this side of the world, but prior to that, because what? We understand Christ first came to what the northern kingdom sits in Samaritan. But not only that, he had to be the first one to not only align the Israelites on the Eastern Hemisphere, but also the Western Hemisphere. So abroad says in or to a foreign country or countries. So when Christ shed light to the Gentiles scattered to all abroad, that the scattered Israelites scattered abroad, it's not only talking about the Eastern Hemisphere, it's talking about the Western Hemisphere, the Americas. When it said he was the God of the wind, Christ flew over, or it's not a coincidence. Right. He was able to walk on water.
Right.
He was able to appear and disappear.
Calm storms.
Calm storm. He's Christ. He would come out of no. Remember when the disciples, when Thomas and them, they was talking in the room, and his Christ just appear out of anywhere. Mm-hmm. You think he can't do that? Damn it, he made the world. He made the elements. He manipulated the elements. So he also had to bring the gospel over to the northern kingdom prior to them being conquered. So that's why they speak of Quetzalcoatl. They knew about Christ. Mm-hmm. How did they know about Christ? If like I said, how did they know about Christ if they didn't have the gospel? Mm-hmm. How did they know about his crucifixion? Think about it. How were they able to paint images of his crucifixion when they were on this side of the world prior to the apostles, prior to him being crucified?
Right. One, because they got first-hand knowledge of it, and two, because they had the Old Testament over here, which attests to it. The Old Testament attests to him being crucified and so forth. So they knew that already. On top of meeting him. All right? That's it.
Oh, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I sent y'all a website. We're going to go to part 3. It's BMAF, I believe. Because we read earlier how Quetzalcoatl was black, a black god, but what ended up happening was it said he was a white-bearded black god. What did Esau do? Esau took white-bearded, he put a comma in between white-bearded. So I said he's white and bearded. You know how evil that is? So white bearded, they said, no, put a comment between white and bearded. So he's white and with a beard. But the description shown is he's black and white bearded. They said, no, put a comment between white bearded. So that way he's white and bearded. Demonic, man, demonic. So we're going to get to that website, Central. We're going to go down to part 3 where it says, what about the prophecy of Quetzalcoatl's return? What about the prophecy of Quetzalcoatl's return?
Oh, you got the okay.
What happened?
Cap got the power, Deep.
Power? Power of what? You talking about?
To read.
Oh, he said he
Quetzalcoatl.
got it? Quetzalcoatl. Okay, he got it.
He wanted to read it. All praise.
As with white and bearded.
See, he got quotes as if white and bearded. Go ahead.
The idea that Quetzalcoatl promised to return is an indelible.
Indelible.
Sorry.
Oh, God.
Jess,
Indelible.
You got it,
You want me to
Jess.
take over?
You take over. Oh, gosh.
He said inevitable. He has made up a whole word of his own.
I got it.
Return as an indelible, aspect.
D, let me start from the beginning.
Jesus. Oh, man.
As with white and bearded, the ideal that Quetzalcoatl promised to return is an indelible aspect of the modern version of the tale.
Indelible means can't be forgotten. Forgotten or removed. You can't take it away. It's what it is. Indelible aspect. Go ahead.
It is part of what we all know and is typically referenced without documentation. Also, similarly to white and bearded, this well-known aspect of the tale is problematic.
It's not. Go ahead. We have pictures. Go ahead.
When B.H. Nicholson summarized the basic Tepalizin Quetzalcoatl tale, he made no reconstruction of a promise to return. I agree with his reconstruction. It is absolutely certain that the original lore contained a section on Quetzalcoatl's departure, but the corresponding promise to return is absent from all but one native source. That one reference is problematic. Rather, the promise to return is inextricably connected to Spanish accounts.
So what this guy is kind of off. He said that the account that Quetzalcoatl would return came from Spaniards. Okay, now we know biblically Christ is going to return. That's what they were referring to. But what ended up happening was when the Spaniards conquered us on this side of the world, they took their Spanish lore and mixed it with ours. Hernan Cortes specifically. Okay, he did this. Watch. Read on. Among others. Watch this.
Those accounts began at the very beginning of the Spanish presence in the New World.
Watch this.
When Cortes entered the capital city of the Aztecs, Tenochtitlan, he made one of the most remarkable and fateful meetings of cultures in the history of the world. For the first time, a representative of a European nation met the ruler of the largest political domain in the New World.
Right.
It was not only an encounter of cultures, but also an encounter of languages. Cortes spoke to Nahuatl.
No, Cortes spoke no Nahuatl. He did not speak the language of the Aztecs. He did not speak Hebrew at all, or corrupt Hebrew at all. He did not speak Nahuatl. Go ahead.
Cortes spoke no Nahuatl. Montezuma spoke no Spanish.
Right, Montezuma, the chief of the Aztecs, spoke no Spanish. Go ahead.
A Spaniard who had been captured by and lived with the Maya spoke Maya to a native woman known as Marina, apparently a native speaker of Nahuatl, who was sold to a Maya village after a family misfortune. Marina translated from Maya into Nahuatl. In this monumental meeting of cultures, communications between the two important figures went through two different translators in 3 languages. Cortes indicates no difficulty with communication. In fact, he is very clear about the content of this meeting. In a letter written in 1520 to the King of Spain, published in 1522, he quotes Montezuma's welcoming speech.
So Cortes quotes, he couldn't speak no kind of Nahuatl. He could not speak the language of Montezuma. He claims that Montezuma said something to him. Watch this.
For a long time, we have known from the writings of our ancestors that neither Montezuma nor any of those who dwell in this land are natives of it, but foreigners who came from a very distant land. And likewise, we know that a chieftain, of whom they were all vassals,
all servants, go ahead,
brought our people to this region. And he returned to his native land, and after many years came again, by which time all those who had remained were married to native women and had built up the villages and raised children. And when he wished to lead them away again, they would not go, nor even admit him as their chief. And so he departed. And we have always held that those who descended from him would come and conquer this land and take us as their vassals. So because of the place from which you claim to come, namely from where the sun rises,
from Europe to east, go ahead,
and the thing you tell us of the great Lord or King who sent you there, we believe,
sent you here, go ahead.
Sent you here, we believe and are certain that his is our natural Lord, especially as you say that he has known of us for some time.
So Hernan Cortes told the Spanish king that Montezuma told him that what ended up happening was they came to this land and they were dropped off. Their Lord dropped them off over here. He came back to bring them home, and they already been settled, had a family and so forth, and he got mad and left them. And he planned on return, and they had wishes that he would eventually come back and save them. And he told Cortes that he believes that Cortes himself is the one that was sent to bring them back home. That's what Cortes claims Montezuma said to him. Go ahead.
This passage is remarkable, perhaps too remarkable, considering the number of translations Montezuma words endure before reaching Cortes's, and the passage of nearly a year before the speech was recorded. A.R. Pagadin, professor of history at the University of California, Los Angeles, comments on its doubtful authenticity.
That means it's a lie. Go ahead.
Both the speech and the one that follows would seem to be apocryphal.
False. Go ahead.
Montezuma could never have held the views with which Cortes accredits him. Elialu Guzman, a Mexican anthropologist, 1985, has pointed out the biblical tone of both these passages and how their phraseology reflects the language of the Siete Partidas, law code of Alfonso X. Cortes is casting Montezuma into the role of a 16th century Spaniard, welcoming his natural, divinely appointed lord, who in this case has been accredited with a vaguely messianic past. Pagden suggests that a similar tale seems to have been current in the native culture, but that it was probably not faithfully reproduced in this record.
What he's saying is that Cortes made things up. Cortes made things up and made it appear as if Montezuma made him out to be this messiah or savior to save the Indians from themselves. That's what he's saying, that this is all made up, that conversation was never had between them, and that he basically made himself appear as this messiah in the eyes of the Aztecs at the time he encountered. When in reality, what ended up happening was Hernan Cortes came there. We did welcome him to this side, and what happened was the king gave his daughter over to Cortes, and her name was Malinke, something like that, and she turned on us. Okay, she became a freaking traitor and turned on us and destroyed the Aztec Empire. The Aztec Empire today is called Mexico City. Mexico City is a freaking graveyard. Under that street is the Aztec temples and bodies. That's what Aztec Empire is. It's Mexico City is a graveyard. A city built upon blood and death like it is now in the cartels and so forth. That's what it is. This conversation never took place. Montezuma never told this guy that he was a messiah, come to save them. That's all lies, all fabricated. Watch.
Furthermore, Cortes' description does not fit the Quetzalcoatl motive. In Cortes' report, a foreign leader
They're saying Cortes' description does not fit Quetzalcoatl's motives, meaning it's a lie. It's not a prophecy of Quetzalcoatl at all. Go ahead. We read earlier that Quetzalcoatl was seated on the throne with the bodies of nations under his throne. He's going to destroy the nations, not send them to conquer, not send them as Cortes to save us. That's a lie. They were sent to enslave us. Go ahead.
A foreign leader brings his people to this land. They intermarry, and when he asks them to leave, they refuse. None of these elements matches the Quetzalcoatl lore, although there are points of similarity. However, the result of seeing the Spanish as foreordained to conquer Mexico was so effective that the story of a returning God was spread wherever the Spanish entered new territory.
So they took this story and they spread it all throughout the Americas to make it true. They all pushed the same lie. Oh, the natives told us that we're the gods that were sent to save them. And they spread that all throughout the Americas. Whenever they conquered the Incas or Aztecs or Mayans or other natives, they would say their gods have it recorded that we were sent to save them.
Like they do today.
Like they do today. White Jesus come to save us. Same thing again. Go ahead.
Conquer Mexico was so effective that his story of returning God was spread wherever the Spanish entered new territory. Historian Jakes Lafayette comments, the prophecy of Quetzalcoatl was a specific Mexican instance of a belief common to the majority of the Indian peoples. The belief that men from the east would come to dominate them. Alvar Nunez Cabeza de Vaca heard of it during his track across the Southwest.
You heard the same rumor on where he's at. Go ahead. Southwest, go ahead.
Gomorrah cities it for Española.
Cites it for Española.
Cites it for Española. The Chicapacas, the Tupa of Brazil.
Heard of Brazil.
The Guarani of Paraguay.
Heard in Paraguay.
Had similar beliefs.
Same nonsense. Go ahead.
In different regions of the New World, the Spaniards were taken for children of the sun. Such a widespread pattern indicates either a Pan-American myth or a Spanish convenience.
A lie. Go ahead.
Justifying their arrival and conquest.
Justifying their arrival and murder and massacre. Go ahead.
Although I have
we
not...
come to save you, but to save you, we must kill you and enslave you. That's how we deliver you. That's how we save you. Go ahead.
Although I have not done serious work on the myth of the other native peoples throughout South America, it seems more reasonable to me that the Spanish brought the myth with them.
They brought the myth with them. Go ahead.
Rather than discovering it in virtually the same from all of these diverse
locales. Go ahead.
The purpose of Quetzalcoatl's return, as it appears in most sources, is a prediction of the Spaniards' arrival.
So the proper interpretation is that Quetzalcoatl told the natives they're going to come here and overthrow you. Deuteronomy 28. That's what it's talking about. That's the proper prophecy. He said they're going to come here and enslave you because you guys keep going into idolatry. Something far worse than you against yourselves is going to come and enslave all of you, like Apocalypto, where they were fighting amongst themselves. Then as you're about to kill each other, look into the sea, you see Spaniards across that's coming in the boat. That's what Quetzalcoatl was saying, based upon Deuteronomy 28. Go ahead.
As the purpose of Quetzalcoatl's return, as it appears in most sources, is a prediction of the Spanish arrival, which is not the same thing as predicting Quetzalcoatl's return.
See, the proper prophecy was Quetzalcoatl saying these guys are going to show up and conquer you. Now I'm going to come and save you. That's the difference. Okay, go ahead. So so Montezuma told the Spaniards, you guys came here to conquer us. You didn't come here to save us. The Spaniards turned it and said, no, they can't. They told us we come to save them. That's not what they said. Because there's other books that say that Montezuma, when they showed up, he went and fasted for days. He went and fasted for days when they showed up because he knew they were going to come and kill him and conquer the people. It says Montezuma closed himself in a room and he fasted for days. That's in the books I have. The man was terrified and angry. He was praying to God, please. Montezuma. That's the accurate history when Cortes showed up. He wasn't happy. He was distressed and fasting like Saul did when he knew he was going to fall. That's what he did. Go ahead.
Deacon, there's a book that Bishop brought out a while back that says that Christ came over and warned them about Christianity.
Right. That too. Go ahead.
Of the Spaniards' arrival, which is not the same thing as predicting Quetzalcoatl's return.
Go ahead.
As the return motive became increasingly Hispanicized.
As the lie became increasingly Hispanicized. Go ahead.
It more strongly justified the conquest.
So it justified what? Them coming over here, enslaving, pillaging, raping, and murdering the natives because they were the saviors of the savages. Go ahead.
Even its excess. By AD 1579.
Even its excesses. Go ahead.
Excesses by AD 1579 to 81. When Diego de Duran composed his history, he has Quetzalcoatl instructing his people before his departure.
Go ahead.
And delivering to them of Tula a large discourse, he prophesied the coming of a strange people from the eastern parts who would land in this place with strange clothes of different colors, dressed from head to foot, and with coverings on their heads. And that this punishment was to be sent from God.
That's the proper interpretation.
Damn.
So they told Diego Duran what Quetzalcoatl really said. Read it again. That they came for what? And that this what?
And dressed from head to foot and with covering on their heads, and that this punishment was to be sent them from God, in payment of the poor treatment which they had given him, and the agony he had suffered. With this great punishment, small and large would perish, not being able to escape from the hands of these his sons, that they were to come to destroy them, even though they were to hide in caves and in caverns of the earth, and from there they would be taken, and there they would go to persecute and kill these people.
So he's saying, you guys killed me, now you must be enslaved until I return. That's what he told them. That's the Quetzalcoatl told them. Remember he said, let his blood, remember that we said what the Pharisees said, let his blood be upon us. And it was on that side of the world and on this side of the world. That's what Montezuma, that's why he said, well, you guys can hide in the caves and the rocks. They're going to find you, enslave you, and kill you. That is the proper breakdown of what Quetzalcoatl said. They ain't going to come to save you. They're going to come to enslave you. Read on.
However, after the conquest, Cortes injects a new element into the native mythic consciousness. The remarkable arrival of strange men from the East was predicted, inevitable, and destined to overthrow the Mesoamerican world order.
See that? It was predestined. Go ahead.
The Spanish mutation of the myth was so strongly attached to the political motives and historical reality of the conquest that it eventually fed back to the natives themselves.
They started to believe it. When they were conquered and colonized, they started to say, maybe these guys are our gods. Maybe they are our saviors, even though their forefathers learned from their chiefs and elders and Quetzalcoatl himself. These guys came to conquer you. They came to enslave you. Go ahead.
As witnessed by Sahagons and informants.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, the particular forms of the myth that are visible in the literature demonstrate that they are additions made through the influence of the clash of cultures that was the conquest of New Spain.
That's all I want. So we were destroyed. We were destroyed, colonized, and brainwashed into believing that this man was come to deliver us when he was sent to enslave us instead. I'm going to read one more thing. Page 113, and we're going to end at 114. I'm going to stop it there. All right? So page 113, and we're going to end it there. One more thing. One more thing. Y'all all right? Brothers look worn out, man. I dropped too much information. Brothers like, no more. God, please. Please, no more, please.
Brain overload.
113, we're going to go to after, and that's it. We're going to go start from after. The very bottom of page 113. The book we left from is page 113. This is the last of it.
Started after Deacon?
Yeah, after the Quinamis. All right. I thought I sent that. Go ahead. Go ahead. Read it slow. You can get it.
After the Quinamis.
So the Quinamis goes back to those what? The Olmecs, the Toltecs, the pre-Inca, Aztec, and Mayan civilizations. The Quinamis, the Negro. Remember they were Negro earlier? How they found them. It was tall as 7 feet. Negro features or Ethiopian features. Go ahead.
After the Quinamis came the Olmecs.
So after the Quinamis came the Olmecs. So the Quinamis go back, way back. Before the Olmecs, go ahead. After the Quinamis came the Olmecs, go ahead.
And the Xicalancas.
The Xicalancas, go ahead.
Named after their first rulers.
So they were named after their rulers. These tribes are named after their rulers. The Quinamis came the Olmecs and the Xicalancas, and who were named after their first rulers or their forefathers. Watch this.
Olmecotl.
Olmecotl is the name of the Olmecs. Go ahead.
And Xicalanca.
That's the name of the Xicalankas. Go ahead.
These are sometimes represented as two nations.
These are two nations. Go ahead.
But both using the Toltec language. Those settled
but both use the Toltec language. Go ahead.
Those settled in Nahuatl long before the
establishment.
Next page.
Before the Toltec establishment,
of the Toltec establishment of the Toltec Empire in Tula.
Tula or Tulan, go ahead.
While as nations, they lost their identity before the coming of Cortes.
See that? So after a while, they begin to lose their identity before Cortes. Go ahead, watch this.
Yet, under new names and and other family combinations. They were still living in Puebla, southern Veracruz.
Who's he referring to? The Olmecs and the Chicalancas. The Olmecs and the Chicalancas, who come from Olmecatl and Chicalancatl. Now watch, so it says these were sometimes represented as two nations. It says they were lost their identity before the coming of Cortes because they intermarried with different tribes. Watch this.
Veracruz, the Chiapas, and Tabasco at the time of the conquest.
So it says they were still living in Puebla, southern. So who's referring to? The Olmecs. He says they were still living in Puebla, southern Veracruz, Chiapas, and Tabasco at the time of the conquest. Okay, when Cortes showed up, they were still around. Watch this.
They are generally considered as the first of the Nua nations in central Mexico.
They are generally considered as the first of the Nua nations in central Mexico. Go ahead.
And tradition in the Campeche coast says that they came there in ships from the east.
They arrived here from these ships from the east. Go ahead.
And afterward migrated both north and south.
And migrated both north and south. Go ahead.
A cape in the state of Campeche still bears the name of Zicalanco. There, they were an industrious and quiet people, being especially devoted to agriculture. It is also claimed that the Olmecs built the famous Palenque, the oldest city on the American continent, but now one of the grandest of Mexican ruins.
So they're still around. They were still around during Cortes' time. They didn't disappear. They were conquered and enslaved, the Olmecs. This is all the same people. I'm going to leave it on that. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. So I hope y'all got some information out of today. I think I dropped enough. So hopefully y'all enjoyed the class. And shout outs to the IT team today, because yesterday, God, Jesus Christ. Y'all did a great job, all praises. And also shout out to the sisters that gave us that feed us before we start. Breakfast is bomb. It was excellent as usual. And what else, Cap? Anything else?
Yes, if you'd like to donate to us, to our hidden history, like I said, it costs money to keep the show running, to distribute to you the best information possible. Like I said, we're constantly upgrading, and we need help and assistance in upgrading the equipment. We thank you for your alms and donations. For those of you that have been sending them in, who was able to get a new computer or praise to the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, so that, like I said, it's not so much glitchy. Now, Lord's will, like I said, we'll be able to get another equipment that we could have the pages switch rapidly.
Right.
So that's going to cost money as well, Israel. We understand your concerns, and we want to be able to present the information to you
in the most professional
way possible.
Right.
So please send in your donations. Note it as radio show donation. You can send it at iuic.newjersey@israelunite.org. Once again, iuic.newjersey@israelunite.org. Or if you'd like to donate to the Booster Club, you can send the funds to iuic.fundraiser@israelunite.org. Once again, you can donate to iuic.fundraiser@israelunite.org. We appreciate your support. Make sure you like and you share. Also like and share. Send it to the various Northern Kingdom blog spots. Try to engage in a respectful conversation, and then drop a link. Drop a link to our Issachar brothers, all right? So we can spread this truth throughout the four corners of the earth and go home. Thank you very much. All praise to the Most High for an excellent show, Deacon.
All praise.
Till next time.
Shalom.
All right, shalom. Shalom. Most High, great bless.